We ready?
It depends. Can we say how we look? I want to know.
We're live.
Are we live?
Yes, we're live.
Hello.
Hey, hey, hey.
We're live, baby. We're live. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in. Hit like, hit share as soon as you get in. Tag a friend. Let somebody know that you're here. We're going to get into this real conversation. Welcome to the Kiss Collective. I'm your girl, Kristen Alicia, and I am here to bring you part 2 of a great conversation, right? So the Kiss Collective is a creative space where we tell the stories that people don't get to tell. We like to empower our communities, and ultimately we like to restore a message of hope. And I do that in ways that sometimes are, just a little bit different. So last week, if you tuned in last week, we appreciate all the support. I got so many messages about, people being inspired to tell their stories and just feeling empowered by the young ladies who have so candidly, I don't want to say exposed, but been vulnerable and just let it be known what it is that they've experienced in life. So last week we did part 1 of overcoming child abuse, trial to triumph. And these young ladies here, I have Luz Vega Gonzalez.
Just call me Angie.
Angie, okay, Angie, okay. I like to say Luz because that's for your Facebook.
Because they forced me to do that.
Who forced you?
Facebook.
She
Well,
was
a hater reported my.
Not a hater.
No, that it really was. So it used to be my Mama Bears.
Okay.
Before it wasn't all that big old business page, whatever. You just did a regular Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it Mama Bears, and I don't know, it was like I got this message that I got reported that wasn't me, and I had to show my ID to Facebook.
I would have got rid of it. That's it.
That's all waving your way. At this point, you're rid of the page. At this point.
I was like, whatever, and I just made it my personal page from there.
Gotcha.
I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
So Angie Vega Gonzalez, because I'm gonna let it be known because she's covered.
Definitely
She's
Gonzalez.
covered, okay.
I'm definitely Gonzalez. Okay.
Angie and my cousin Siobhan Ethan have come and decided to tell their stories in such a way that has not just compelled people to want to do the same, but also it's inspired people to get involved and get active, and that's the point. The point is to play a role in your community where you are an advocate for those who can't speak for themselves, or you're in some type of service. I always like to tell people, if you're looking for your purpose in life, I got it for you. It's service.
And it doesn't have to be your community, because another way for you to show up, especially for children, is by being that adult that they can trust.
Right.
Being that adult that can advocate for them when no one else is, or even listen and say, listen, I hear something's going on, tell me more about it, and then, report it. That is the most imperative way that you can show up for kids.
Yeah. So I want to let these young ladies just do a little recap. If you did not get a chance to watch last week's live,
Watch it.
Go back and watch it. I actually just reposted it today so that you can, catch up. But they do obviously want to give a little bit of their story.
Give a little synopsis.
Very little.
Y'all gotta watch the first episode.
Look, and it's going to be a little synopsis because we still have so much to cover.
There's a lot.
And then what we'll do is I want to bring in some of the male figures in their life and kind of get their perspective as well. So, Andy, you wanna start us off?
I guess. All right. So just a little bit of a recap. I spoke about one person in particular, which was my mother's husband, who physically abused me and also molested me. It is, unfortunately, it's my younger sister and younger brother's father. My sister was here as well. My younger sister was here as well. When I did speak up, when I finally did speak up in the 8th grade, I was made to change my story to protect him. And they got that off because
We got that off.
they did. Is because my siblings mean everything to me, and I was a child. So they manipulated me, saying that if I didn't change my story and he went to jail or anything happened, my siblings would hate me. So, changed my story. And yes, she never left him. So I had to continue living with this person. The molesting stopped though after I spoke up, but the abuse got worse.
Physical abuse.
Yeah, physical abuse got worse. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So the conversation that we were having last night is a lot of times in abuse when it's someone who is closer to you or in your immediate circle. A lot of times there will be a process of grooming or a process of trying to make you okay with certain things, and that's kind of what she was experiencing. How much older than you was he?
I wish my sister was here because I don't.
Approximately 9.
I think
like
like 10 years or something. 10.
Not that I know.
Let's say ballpark 10 to 12 years. He wasn't that much older than me. I just don't remember.
So
if my sister's on there, she can put it on the comments. I don't remember the man's year of birth.
So but even still, think about it. If you're telling me it started at what age?
The physical abuse, like the hitting?
Yes.
Oh, that was when I was like 8 years old.
So at 8, he would, let's give him 12 years. He was 20.
He was a baby. He was young. But, again, when
Jasmine,
my
that's too much
father...
math. Ain't nobody got time for that math.
Jasmine
Okay,
said,
Jasmine said
said
I was 21 when he was 21 when I was born, and Ames was 9. I ain't doing math, girl. And we still got
I don't know.
How much older are you than Jasmine?
10 years.
10 years.
I was literally, she was born literally, like
So 11
4
years.
months before I turned.
My math
10.
right? 11 years?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
But he was old
But still,
yeah.
He was old enough to know better.
Old enough to know better, but also a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got a
If he
21-year-old,
was-
and my
but that's
son
what
knows
I'm
damn
saying,
well
so look-
not to be looking at
so,
no 11,
yeah, right, so they-
10-year-old little girl.
So that's what I'm
like
saying,
she's-
like, imagine your son, you know what I mean? Or someone your
Exactly.
son's age, like,
Not happening.
No.
it's enough for me, dog.
Get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it. Yeah, so, you experienced that for how long did the physical abuse go on? Because it kind of slowed down and then it started back up.
Yeah,
until you left.
Yeah, until I left. So there was a point in time where I have an older brother on my father's side. And I went to his house at one point. I had quit school and everything. I was in 11th grade and I ran over there. But then after that, if I'm not mistaken, I think like he left my mom. I don't know, because it was always back and forth. But I know I ended up back at my mom's house. I went back to school. But then me and my first boyfriend, which is my oldest father, he proposed, and then I was about to get out of the house anyway. So it was kind of like, at that point, it was like, whatever.
Yeah.
How old were you when you were about to
17.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I turned 18 in February and I got married that summer.
Company.
Like I literally was planning on wedding
Do you
before I
think
was
that
an adult.
Do you think that pushed you in any?
It absolutely did.
Yeah.
Not saying that I did not love him,
But that was an escape.
you know, and regardless of anything stupidity that we've ever went through and all the tit for tat that we did in a toxic relationship because we were also young, I am grateful for him.
Yeah.
He was very supportive. He did. I can honestly say he rescued me from that.
Yes.
And I gotta give it to him. So. And he was also the first person that I was with physically, and he was very patient with me. And very understanding. And he waited. He did. I gotta give that to him.
Nice.
Good. Shout out to him.
We all need those.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you want to wait to talk about the other things?
No,
We can get, yeah, let's
You want to dive a little deeper?
we're gonna
dive a
we're
little
gonna
deeper.
delve.
So-
to the-
A part of the grooming was him making certain inquiries and making certain, and
Becoming,
Weird shit.
trying to be more involved in her.
weird shit.
Personal.
that wasn't, but it wasn't even involved. It
No,
was
he
like
was-
some
he
weird.
was
It
weird.
was weird.
It was
He was
weird.
digging.
The way that it happened was weird.
Yes.
Okay, so give us the first instance.
So, because obviously, you know, you're young and you know, you got your little crushes and stuff. And I don't know, I just guess, he just wanted to know what was I doing. And him and my mom put me in a car and we drove to New York and we went to, it was like a storefront. We walked in, I remember he had like a white button up, bald head, and he said, oh, I'm here for, I don't even remember the guy's name, but he was like, oh, I'm here for such and such. And he was like, oh, yeah, come to the back. Literally, just like you see in the movies. Literally, you know, it's like a store in the front, like a bodega. And then in the back, we sit, it was, we were in New York. So we sit it was a small table. The guy sat on this side, I sat here, and it was my mother's husband and my mother. And he pulls out some cards. So I got my cards read.
But-
I laugh now, but
Yes.
as a kid, I was like, what
It was scary.
what the hell? Yeah. But, yeah, and it was just the stupid questions. Like, asking, you know, if I have interest in a particular male and am I sexually active or am I going to be wild like the women in my father's side of the family. Like,
Can you imagine though?
like
Like,
just
can
the
you imagine?
stupidity
That would have been off. I mean, first of all, this is a man who is not even related.
Yeah.
Like, you are literally you only know me because you are my mother's boyfriend, husband. And you're asking these kind of questions after you've already been exposed.
Yeah.
After
This
I had
happened
already
after.
spoke up, but he didn't do it. You know.
But normal people would shy away from, like, I'm not
Exactly,
going to
that was
go
way too
anywhere
close.
around her. I'm not going to mention anything sexual. Like, he kept going. He kept going.
He was
wanted to
very
be with you.
concerned.
He wanted to be with you.
It was disgusting, is what it was. And then it's like, you know, I know a lot of you probably wondering, well, what was her mom's problem? He was very good. I do give him that. So he
And
made
we
it
know
seem
women.
like he looked at me like a daughter, and
He probably
he was
shed a tear,
just
too,
he was
didn't he?
just
I can't believe
concerned.
you would think I would do something.
Yeah,
to
like
her.
I can only imagine their private conversations or whatever. But
I love her like my
You
own
can't honestly
daughter.
Yeah.
think, you can't honestly think I would do something like
Yeah.
that to her.
Why
Yeah.
would I? She's a little ass girl.
She a little girl.
Cause
Woo,
I
you hear it?
was tiny. I was tiny, so it was just like I didn't even understand it. Why am I attracting you? And I was a tomboy.
Because So I mean, but legit. I mean, and I don't know these people, so I can't speak on it. But I think those are the ones that they prey on because they feel like, number one, you're not going to say anything, you know, and it's going to be inconspicuous. You don't like, you're a tomboy, so they're not going to think you're sexually active. They're not going to think that you're, you know.
He was very concerned with that as well. He wanted to know if I was a lesbian as well.
I told you I was watching the R. Kelly thing, and one of the things that he did, which was a way of grooming, was one of the young ladies that he kept the closest to him. He had, it wasn't her choice. He had her dressing like a boy.
Yes.
And that was how her mother found her, because the one girl was on TMZ, and her mom looked to the corner and was like, "Oh no, under that baseball cap is my baby." But it was his way of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
They think that they're flying under the radar. Yes. Yes. It's
So, again, another way that you can advocate for your kids and other children is to watch your language and how you talk about certain things, or how you, you know, the things that you allow them to believe is okay. Like when we talk about, you know, hugging or allowing children to have body autonomy, not making them to be in situations that they, if a relative wants to go in for a hug and your child doesn't want to,
they ain't got to.
they don't have to. Because then when you push the message that this is,
I want you
know,
to hug men.
Yeah,
You know, it's okay to hug men or give them kisses. Give strangers kisses.
mm-hmm.
Then when a stranger does approach them and say, "Hey, give me a kiss," I'm like, "Oh, my mom said it was okay before." You know, like, it's a mixed signal. It's confusing.
Yeah.
And how do they know stranger danger if you're
And
not?
then,
You know, like, it's
right. So, and then these perpetrators, they know what the language looks like. So then when they say, "Oh, it'll be our little secret," and you've allowed secrets before, a child is not putting together, this is
a
different
good
than
secret.
that.
This is a bad
Yeah.
secret. But that's not how it works. So yeah, I mean, we really do need to teach kids and be okay with our kids not giving hugs, not giving kisses.
Yeah.
And teaching them to use the right words.
And
Use the
it's
name
not
on
to
body
say,
parts.
it is not to say that, you know, we push for our kids to be
Older,
disrespectful
grown. Yes,
or because essentially they're still children and they're still figuring out life at their age, the same way we're figuring it out at our big age. So, you know what I mean? It's okay for you to, you know, teach them how to respectfully decline. I do that all the time.
And just don't make it normal. Don't make it a normal thing. Like, oh, you see somebody, give them a hug. Give them like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
You don't. That's not how they have to show affection. That's not how they have to show someone, you know, that they care. Like being nice, having a conversation. That's enough.
Not only that, but like just things that, not teaching them that they have to do things that they don't want to do. Like, prime example, you'll have your child do something to another child, and you'll make them say sorry, right?
How are you teaching them to know what it means?
To be
remorseful.
To actually be remorseful.
They don't know what it means to be remorseful if you're telling them to say sorry, because it's an empty sentiment at that point.
Or making them share. I'm sorry. I feel like when you make a child share, when you're always
Without
making
explaining.
a child without explaining, or there's nothing wrong with telling them to want to share, or you know what I mean, showing them the difference between wanting to share and making them share. Because how many times have you seen a kid share something or give everything that they had, have nothing left for themselves, and they feel defeated,
Literally.
right? And then we have adults who don't know how to set boundaries.
Yes.
Because we have perpetuated
Legit.
that. Literally,
Now I'm
is
just
what it
giving
does.
all of me, and I'm giving everything that you're asking of me, and
Exactly.
you're not giving me anything in return, and it's normal to me because this is how.
Because
it's
everybody
been.
told me what it was good is to share. Yeah, but if it's not in your heart to do it, you don't get no points for what's not in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, said all that to say, you know, it's okay for you to allow your children to have autonomy over their body. Because essentially,
That's the way that they're going to communicate.
That's
to you
their,
when
and
something's wrong.
that's not only that is that the way that they're going to communicate, but that's the only way that they're going to know how to move through life setting healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Because this is first.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? This is the first thing that I can
Control.
before I am in a career, this is the first thing that I can control.
Mhm.
I can control this space right here. So if I'm allowed to say, no, I'm not comfortable with that. No, I don't like that. And
You're teaching
I mean,
healthy boundaries.
exactly.
That's
And
how
the
we
thing
learn.
is, when you start to say boundaries, people are like, oh yeah,
Mm.
because that says to me that
You don't respect my
you don't
boundaries.
respect any. So how you advocate for your kids is you don't have to be disrespectful. You don't have to
And they're not
challenge.
disrespectful for saying, no, I
Right,
don't want to
and
get
there's
that hug.
and it's not disrespectful for you to politely decline. And it's okay for you to tell mommy if there's a situation where you had to
Where
politely
you feel
decline.
uncomfortable. Yes.
So,
And
yeah, so Angie has experienced some
Weird shit.
weird shit.
weird.
Because that wasn't the
Very
only
weird.
time.
Yeah. So the tarot cards was one thing.
The tarot cards was a bit much and creepy, but it was like, it wasn't too bad, in a sense
But
where.
you didn't feel alone.
Yeah, because it was like in an open area in the back
And you
of
felt
the
like
store.
the
And then the tarot card guy kind of
Yeah, tarot
looked,
card
his
guy.
whole demeanor changed at one point because it was like, believe what you want. I'm not this big,
spiritual
Yeah, like big-
believer.
like I'm just whatever, to each his own. And I do believe in there's good. I do believe there's bad. I do
Yeah.
believe in all. Yes, yes. So I know for a fact that he picked up, whether it was his intuition or if
He was really gifted.
yeah, he was
One or
really
the other.
gifted and spirit did talk to him, whatever it was, but he caught on and he diverted the whole conversation and was just like, she's good. She's gonna be good. She's a very strong individual. You have nothing to worry about. You could tell he wanted to be done with the whole thing. He did. So that wasn't too
Ooh,
bad.
that was awkward too. That would be awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be awkward, but at the same, like the whole situation is
Yeah,
already
it's
like,
her mother and her stepfather.
And then on top of that, you drove us to New York. I can't get over that. Like you put me in a car.
Y'all better offend me too.
Nah, we got like a couple snacks and stuff right there at the store, but that was
We
it.
want to take a road
in and
trip
out,
to go.
in and out. It was like
At least take me to a restaurant.
no.
We could have stopped at, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Ugh.
Get somebody else to do it.
So then after that,
Yeah, there was another incident that this time it was my mom and her brother, my uncle, the same one that put me in the car to make me change my story. They drove me to which now I know it was Hamilton, and it's weird because it was just random. Here I had a surprise birthday for my best friend, and one of her real closest friends, we were just talking, and she just, she grew up in Woodland Park, so she just said, and I was just like, and it just dawned on me. I was like, oh shit. I was like, let me ask you a question. Is there some old man, yada yada yada? And she goes, yeah, he creeps me out. And I said, it gotta be him. And that was the first time I ever told that story. And mind you, we've been friends since we were 10. She knows a lot of stuff, and I never told her that. She looked at me like, what? But yeah, so I was taken over there, and this was like some creepy, like,
Another bodega?
no, this
no,
was
remember it was like the
a creepy
it was
shed.
a shed? Oh.
creepy shed, garage in the back, on the side, back of his house. And this one, he had a lot of, it was more of a darker.
It's giving me, it gives me Lovecraft Country. The way
I
that
haven't seen it.
the
I
way
don't
that
know,
she
I don't know
describes
what
it,
she's
I mean,
talking
it
about.
And
just gives
again,
me,
I'm
like,
smiling and I'm laughing because it's like, I'm a mom now, and I would never, this is ridiculous.
But I have
Like,
to, okay, the fact that she's smiling and laughing, I have to speak to just in the time period that we started talking about this, the
demeanor. Yes.
Like it's literally like she's like.
I'm telling you, the
Like
more
I
you
got
talk
diarrhea
about
of the
it,
mouth.
Not even just diarrhea. No,
well,
it's literally like
it's a release.
It's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean, like something's
Yeah.
coming up off your chest.
Yes.
Because obviously the first night
Watch
it was
episode
a
1.
little more
You will
emotional.
see.
Yes.
No, but even before episode 1,
At
but
my
even
house.
then to episode 1,
Yes.
like I had to say to her, "Girl, smile,"
Yeah, it was rough. I
because
gave him a little bit more, and we're in my house.
she got home court advantage.
Yeah. You know, and I can hear my kids in the back, and they're like a sense of comfort for me too.
Yeah.
I can hear them downstairs. So,
See?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm loving
Thank
just
God.
being able to.
Facilitate that kind of discussion.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Because to me, it looks like relief.
It
looks
is.
like,
And,
you know what I mean?
let's not talk about a lot of you reaching out to me.
Yeah,
Like,
That
And-
too. It motivates.
yeah, and it was a rough week for me. It was like a little bit of a roller coaster. I was like, I don't know if I can take all this information right now.
yeah,
Because, again, I was dealing with finally speaking.
yeah.
And,
And you'd be surprised at how many people have the same
And
story. You have it. Oh, I know.
Who?
Yeah.
because there was about 3 particular people from his side of the family that had no idea.
It's
Yeah. And it's crazy because
relief is a good word.
their message was not anything
How you
that.
thought it would be.
Yeah, because I was ready to throw gloves on. Like, I was about to be like, what?
She was.
She's
You
like,
know,
she just like,
Because
She
there
was.
isn't someone in particular from before, which I do not speak to anymore. He didn't say shit to me, but he threw that out there that he spoke to him before he passed away, and he said he didn't do anything to her. Like, she gotta be lying and stuff, like, you know. And I chose,
and we say,
yeah, I chose to not, which is messed up because I really did love him, like family, this particular person. And I was hurt by it at first. It was more hurt. It was just like, wow, you didn't even like come talk to me about it or ask me, or and you just off the. So since he did it like that, and he has a very strong demeanor, and so do I, and you know. And my husband ain't no punk. You a man. I
So
ain't
what you
fighting
say?
you. You get what I'm saying? It was just gonna be all for what?
Yeah.
So I just chose to just.
And it'd be like
and
that.
it does. Literally, it's crazy, you know, similar situation, but those are the people that you really just have to say, like, I never needed it.
And
I never needed
and
that
I'm not gonna
relationship.
miss
I'm
it.
not gonna miss you. I'm not gonna miss you, and I don't need that kind of energy
I'm
around
good.
me.
I'm good off it.
Listen. I will say that I've even I have changed. I've changed a little bit because there was a time that you know what I mean. I believe in having a conversation because I'm not offended until I tell you I'm offended, and if
She is good for saying that.
what
I'm not offended until I tell you I'm offended.
no,
I'm
because
offended and I'm just gonna cut you off.
no,
You will
like,
not hear from me.
I feel like, and this is just me personally. First off, I let a lot of things go. So until I really feel away, and you know what I mean, and I feel away enough to say something, if I feel enough to say something, that should be the last time I gotta say it.
I don't
That, you know what I mean? Because at that point, if I gotta say something 2 or 3 times, now I'm begging and I'm not doing that. So I don't feel away until I tell you that I felt away. But I also have gotten better at, you know, assessing, is this worth even saying? Is this a situation that I feel like
You don't have to
that
tell
I
one
gotta
less person
get on
to
my,
do the active
do I gotta
listening.
get on my soapbox? Is this a person that I'm going to no? Then that's what it is. Because it really, and the crazy part about it is you want to like think like about your day ones, your ride or dies, your all those things. But the reality is a lot of times in life we are going through seasons, and no one is, you know what I mean? Like undoubtedly, because we're people.
Very few. You will have literally a handful handful of people that is going to be with you from the beginning
To the end.
Most of the time, those are like, family essentially.
Or some people are there just to get you through a season. And you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a nasty breakup. It's just, okay, you were there for what I
needed you
what
for.
God was trying to show me in that season.
Mm-hmm.
And now that season is past.
Yep.
And it ain't no love lost. It ain't no, you know what I mean, issues or nothing like that. That's just what it is. So I say, exactly, lessons learned. There are people that I'm like, I hate that I had to learn that lesson like that.
Yes.
I hate that I had to learn that lesson like that. I'm glad I did.
But
She ain't gonna get me again.
That's just life.
You ain't gonna get me again.
It's okay. It's okay.
But so yes, so Angie is
I want to hear more about this seance.
that's what it was. That's what it was.
It's so embarrassing
It's
too.
not.
It really
It's
is.
interesting.
Because
And
it's like
interesting to
it's
learn
like
things.
that stereotypical Spanish thing, like
Oh, it's very-
I'm telling you,
yeah,
the
but
way
I
that she
don't
described
do that.
it reminded me of
like,
like
it's like who does
it
that?
reminded me of
Like, what?
So she knows what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like. So in my head, I picture a dark skin. I picture a black guy with like real pretty skin, right? Listen.
You're talking about the voodoo guy.
Yeah, the voodoo guy.
Okay.
With real pretty
That's what we
skin.
gonna call it.
Maybe he's dark skinned with like light eyes. Like something real different.
Something real Candyman-ish?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's not how he looks.
But this is what
He
I'm
look
saying.
like
So
a
in my
regular-
head,
Real Candyman-ish.
At first.
she said he looked like a farmer.
No, he did. It was like this little old, he was Spanish, but he was lighter than me, like a little ghost, and little old man. But then when we went inside, he had this white t-shirt, jeans on, and slides. And when we went inside, I didn't want to go in. Once I seen all the stuff up on the shelves, and it was just,
It was ears.
I was like,
and,
what?
A nose.
no, I didn't. Stop.
When you said all this, honestly, when you first said all this
the
stuff,
body parts.
that's
not what I
thought.
meant. That's not
When
what
she
I
said all this
meant.
stuff, it was like all this. I was like,
Candles, like
Just
candles.
a lot of
when you said
stuff.
cow tongue,
No, just stuff. Whatever.
he was like,
and we
that's for that kind of spell.
yeah, like
These are the
that's
kind of
just
memories you will
weird.
never forget.
And
Like,
I, and I just didn't. I was scared. I'm not even going front. I was just like, whoa. I don't even. It was like they were telling me to go in. I was like, huh? I was like, I don't want to go in there. And then my mom's behind me telling me to get in, and I was like, mm-mm. But he's telling me, yeah, no, come here. You don't have to be afraid. And I'm looking like, imagine you're a kid, and you're like, what are they about to do to me?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, you're a kid. You start thinking of Exorcist. You start thinking, I was like,
As an adult, I was thinking
what
like
did they
vaginal
think?
mutilation.
Yeah, I
I was
didn't
like,
know
Legit,
what.
I was
when
like,
she
oh my God,
said,
they're gonna
when
take
she
this
said it got weird, I was like,
It did
he
get
about to go
weird.
find out if her hymen is still in place.
I didn't know what to expect, but again, it's funny now.
Listen,
But
I probably
Because
would
last night we both was like,
yeah, I finally
God.
told them a little bit last night, and their whole thing. This is not how they reacted. But yeah. So anyway, just to real quick, he turned into whoever he had to turn into.
not
No,
turning to.
he did. That's exactly what he did. You think I'm playing?
I'm sorry, it's not funny.
It's not. It's
But
serious.
that's how,
Something happened because the look in his eye
He
was
became
different.
someone.
Yeah,
I'm
and his
telling you,
voice
his eyes
was
was
different.
bright and then they got dark. In my head.
Probably.
Or dark and got light.
It probably, I don't know, but it was a creepy stare once he
Came back.
came back, and he just, it was very uncomfortable. And it went from starting off like he was telling me to tell him what happened, and I'm just sitting there like I can't even talk. I was scared to death, and then he just like flipped and was just like, tell me what he did to you. Like it was just crazy. Just like I swear, it's like the way it is in the movies. That's what happened.
Diana says she remembers his name, but she doesn't remember his name, but she knows what you're talking about.
In Hamilton. The old man from
I wonder if
Hamilton.
he's still there.
And I'm telling you, well, recently the girl said, the
Bro,
girl
I wonder if, I know, if you were to go back to him, you don't want to? I'll go.
Which that'll be OG. That'll be OG.
No, I wouldn't even, like,
I don't know if I want to do that.
I mean, he already did his job.
Siobhan.
So the reason why she's
What she mean to say?
okay, so what happened was that it turned into taking me there for whatever reason. I don't know what was the reason behind it. I was sitting there. I was sitting on this side. My mom was sitting next to me, and my uncle was standing by the door. He never sat. He never nothing. And it went from him yelling at me, trying to get me to say something, and then he just lost it, and he started going in on my mom. He pretty much was just like, you act like you don't know, but you know. It was just weird. It was just crazy, and then it went from her sitting there to she looked like she wanted to run out the door, and the other one wanted to run too. Then I started to feel a little bit more comfortable because then he was like kind of talking to me like it's gonna be okay and this and that, and he told her about some black candles that were turned on in the house that man turned on. How did he know that? Again, like I said, these people do have gifts, and that was creepy to hear because he knew. So. And then he just like had these rocks in his hand, like this. He threw them on there, and he said he was gonna melt them down like chocolate. He said, "Don't worry, because I'm gonna take care of them for you." And which also scared me. And my mom was supposed to take me back. Needless to say, I never went back.
She was like, "You ain't know what he's talking about. Get in the car, girl."
He did give her some candles though. It was like a colorful one, a red one, and a white one. And
he gave her candles
to break whatever those black candles that he had lit up on the dresser that I don't know how he knew they were on the dresser. So mind you, I'm a kid and this is all going on top of the abuse.
Your mom was just like, "I'm here for the ride."
So I think I turned out pretty good.
For real. For real.
Listen,
I ain't perfect and I got some shit with me, but
That's hard.
yeah.
All right.
So, I want to bring Stretch in and I want to play the song again. Don't. Stretch, you can sit between them. I'm going to play the song.
So, listen to our first episode. You know, it wasn't a premiere. The song was released a couple days before. April 8th. But her husband wrote a song. Kind of a tribute to her struggle, to her journey. Beautifully written song. We are going to play it. Ahora. Ahora.
Little girl, hold on. Don't let that man break you down. Might think nobody cares, but real love is around. Bound to find you, cause that type of pain cuts deep. I know you're looking for a hill that's steep, but little girl, hold on. There's nothing that can change your past. Just give your kids the blessings you never had. I know it's hard to understand why things were even allowed, but don't worry, cause karma comes back around. So little girl, hold on. Where should I start? It's a shame when the mother ain't even playing a part. It's hard to imagine what a daughter must face, being abused and touched in inappropriate ways, especially by the one that's supposed to accept her. Filling the role of a father, he's supposed to protect her, not the one who causes her harm. That sounds foul. A grown man putting his hands on a child, that type of damage is forever, never will it be gone. I just hope that she could weather the storm and stay strong for her siblings so they don't have to feel that hurt. She knows better, but it only gets worse. It's like a curse. Her childhood was robbed in a way that she can't get back. Built up resentment, and he was the one who did that. Now she dislikes eyes that are blue or skin with the red pigment. That's the devil in view. So little girl, hold on. man break you down. Might think nobody cares, but real love is around. Bound to find you, cause that type of pain cuts deep. I know you're looking for a hill that's steep, but little girl, hold on. There's nothing that can change your past. Just give your kids the blessings you never had. I know it's hard to understand why things were even allowed, but don't worry, cause karma comes back around. So little girl, hold on. What more can I say then? Family members knew, but no actions were taken. It's like they ain't care, so why should he stop what he doing if they won't believe what isn't seen? It's like a bad dream, she can't wake up from. With stories like these, you can't make up, son. Her childhood ruined, adulthood beginning. Hoping that her future is better than what she's living. Anger builds up and it's hard to be affectionate. Put the walls up, love, she couldn't get next to it. But over the years, she let the walls down and was blessed with a few boys, but that ain't all now. Had so many miscarriages, yeah, she didn't know why. But her body rejected girls, so they won't live what I describe. It's crazy how one man can change your life, but that life through her sight would have him take his own life. Now that's karma. It's crazy how we put so much trust into the people that we look up to. How we entrust them with the ability to protect us from harm in a world that's so cruel. But what do you do when that trust is broken? And the people that we trust show us how cruel this world can really be. That's the question that needs to be asked. Hashtag protect our children.
Not the finger snaps.
Still hits the same.
Yeah, still hits the same.
Still hits the same.
So when Angie reached out to me, part of her, her
Revelation.
excitement, right, was basically the song, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I heard the song and I was like,
Yeah, he wrote it last year.
Yeah. Last year in June.
Yeah.
June of last year.
And I was on a retreat and with my little sister Jasmine and my cousin Bianca. This is just a little recap. I said this last week, but just whoever didn't tune in, he wrote this while I was gone on the retreat out of nowhere, and immediately wrote it and called.
Yeah, the following day I hit up my people's Lucity. He's the one who mixed us. Shout out to Lucity. I hit him up, set up a session the next morning, and laid it down, and a couple hours I sent it.
Yeah.
so how would you say, my thought process when you know what I mean, her saying he wrote the song was your man was
Love.
Seriously,
Love.
was thinking about you.
Everything.
He was probably, you know what I mean,
Recapping. This is
feeling away.
The stuff she's been through.
It was on my mind for a while, but some things you just keep to yourself. And,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just happened she went on that retreat that she needed, and I was here by myself with the kids, and just
Little time
listening to
spent.
music, and
Now, how far into the relationship would you say that you first found out about, some of the things that she had been through?
after a few years, after we were married. Yeah, it was after.
Yeah, I think so. And it
Yeah,
wasn't
after-
even me that said it.
Yeah, I know, it's her sister. Shout out Millie.
Where's
Yeah,
Millie?
she told me, she was like,
You
did
thought
she
it was
tell you?
Jasmine?
I did
Nah,
too.
it was
I did
really-
too.
And she was like, has she told you everything that happened to her? And I'm like, oh, no. And she was like, oh.
Yeah, I just gave her this
And she still didn't tell me. It took years for her to go into detail with everything.
which again is something that I said on the last episode, which is wrong. Which is I have sons of my own now, and I tell them, come to me, or if you don't feel comfortable, come to me. Go to your dad, go to your aunt, your uncle, whoever you feel comfortable with. And I was like, I'm over here speaking this, speak up. Meanwhile,
Yeah, because the holding it in doesn't really help. It builds
Yeah.
up and builds up.
And it
then
really
anger
does.
builds up,
Right.
and next thing you know, you're lashing out at the wrong people.
and I have,
Mm-hmm.
some didn't deserve it, some did,
Some did.
and I don't regret it. But a lot of people didn't deserve it. was hungry.
Look, I'm like this guy right here.
Oh, yeah, he don't deserve it.
But you was born for this.
Oh yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
That's
You know what I mean?
Listen, I'm not soft, so
He definitely ain't, because I mean,
listen. She go ahead.
Neither one of us
and I'm
are.
like, man, shut the get away from me.
Who
You
you
know what I
talking
mean?
to?
Yeah, our kids laugh at us.
yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll be like this 1 minute, and then like this the next.
How do you think it had the, like, what are some of the signs that you were like, okay,
Something.
I know.
Like she got issues.
It's okay.
You ain't had to say
No,
that.
no, no.
I'm
But it
good,
is.
I'm good.
But
It
it
is,
is. I'm
it
okay
is.
with the issues though.
It is.
Okay.
And it took a
It's
real
little
one to
things.
deal with them issues.
Little things I would do, sometimes playing around that she just go off, and I'm like, whoa, just playing, relax.
Where'd that come from?
And yeah, it's just things like that. And it's like, all right, something's wrong. Something happened. And then little by little she started going into detail of what happened. Then it's like, oh, okay, now I get it.
And
Yeah.
you had never met him. You don't know.
No. The only one I knew his son. One of them. And then seeing him, then that's when after I saw him, oh, what's up, hey? Then I saw a picture. And I was like, oh shit, you look just like him.
How
And
did
I
it,
didn't put two and two together.
right.
You know, until
How
later.
did it, like, make you feel? Like, once
Oh, I
you
was
kind of
mad.
got, like, a whole scope.
I was mad. Like if I'd have came across him, I probably would have put hands on him. Yeah, it was like that.
Yeah.
But you know, I look at it. God works in mysterious ways, and leave everything in His hands, and she handles everything the right way most of the time.
I tried.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I gotta ask the pressing question.
Nah, it's all right.
How does it affect your relationship with your mother-in-law? Is there one?
To a certain extent, you know what I mean, and it's like I never see accountability.
And
You know
that's
what I mean?
important.
But it's a shame because like there's times where like she talks to her about, all right, whenever you failed me, like her, you failed her, don't do the same. You know what I mean? Like be there for your grandchildren. And you know, the little
And then
ones
for you,
are,
it's like, I'm not even going to give you a chance to.
Fail my kids.
yeah.
No.
No, she tried.
I do
She
try.
tries. Listen, where sometimes I just be like,
So, again, that was another thing last week where I was
just
saying,
real quick, throughout all the bad that happened, that I was told, she still never bashed her mom.
Same. I mean,
Like
we know
bashed
this.
the mom, and
We know
like
this.
she
She still
has
doesn't
every
even want
right
to cut
to,
that
but
off.
she still doesn't, and I look at her like, damn, that if that was
That
me,
speaks
I'd probably
volumes.
go off, right?
Mhm.
But you know, that speaks volumes of the person that she is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why she is the way she is with our kids. With our kids.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but I don't get it. Like, I get it, you know, like,
Mhm.
this is your mom.
Mhm.
I don't know if I would, no, I know I would. I don't know if I would be able to be that forgiving, especially to allow her into my most sacred, like, my children.
Right.
Like, I feel like you failed me, and I don't know if I would let you be able to do that to them. I don't know if I would trust you enough to. Well,
not.
you don't let them. You don't
It's
let
not
her, right?
happening.
But I would.
Like,
Like, I don't know if I would be okay with accepting, you know, like what
So
you
this
did to me.
is the thing. The average grandparent is normally like you need them to help babysitting.
Yes.
You need help pick up, drop off. You need all that stuff.
They co-parent. They
You know
co-parent.
what I'm saying? Not to toot my horn, but
But to do it, to
I don't.
she's
I
very
don't.
independent.
I don't need it. it's nice. It would be nice to have, but I don't need it. And
So
I like to do things myself.
So she's already trying to see where she could fit in anyway,
Mhm.
because
There is
there's
no
not-
fitting in because I do a lot. Like,
Right.
and I like to do it. I like, for me, I like to do it. And he could tell you about that too. I do. I got issues. I like to do it. Like,
clothes laid out. What
Yes.
they're gonna eat tomorrow. What they're gonna
What they're gonna wear,
tomorrow.
down to the socks and shoes.
Socks,
No,
drawers, lotion,
That is
everything
me.
out in the
What's
open.
wrong with that?
yeah, like if I'm
That's
gonna,
different.
No,
Weird.
I just never seen that before. Honestly.
My mama do that shit.
And she gets mad at me when I just don't do nothing. I'm like, "Bruh, you got
You
it."
got it.
but anyway,
Yeah.
so the task,
It's what it
the
is.
task would be easy for her if she
It'd be
really
easy for
wanted it.
anybody.
Right.
Cause I'm very,
Because there's not much.
like
there.
like when we go, like if we go out, cause I'm not saying that she never has come around. She's never been here
Listen, our
to,
little guys, our 4 and 3, I mean our 6 and 3-year-old, they love her.
yeah,
They
you know, they're
love, like they
innocent.
light up when they see her.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, yo, you're still in time, like you can, but so, I do allow her, like, I'd be like, oh, you wanna watch them, you wanna babysit? I don't need her to, but I'm like, I'm asking you if you want to, do you want that way, it's not
For you
babysit,
to
it's kinda
build
like so
that
you can spend time with them.
Yeah.
And I do give her that opportunity or whatever, and we clash, and I don't know if it's
resentment.
me that I just expect. I don't know what's that called, helicopter mom. Like if I expect a certain, this is like,
No, helicopter mom
I-
like hover. Do you want to hover?
huh?
You want to hover over her?
Like I want. How can I explain it? Like don't let my kids do whatever they want and run wild and just. And not pay attention to them, or you sleeping in the room and my kids are running around in the house.
That's helicopter.
You know what I mean? It's weird. It's like they're toddlers.
Like, be a parent.
And then they're so close in age, like they'll
Right.
fight each other. If you ain't paying attention, one might be unconscious and you sleeping. Like, stuff like that. It's just because I do have cameras. And I could be all the way somewhere
love
else.
it.
And I'll be like, why are they running around and
Do
you're
you see them in the
room?
kitchen? Do you see him running in the back door? That is me.
Like, I expect a certain, you know what I mean? Don't, and if you don't like it, don't do it then. Don't take up the task. Because I know I care for people's kids and I watch them the way I would watch mine.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't take on that task, then I wouldn't have done it. That's how I look at
Yeah,
it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, that's just me.
No, that's real.
And
That's
I do,
real.
I make it very easy for her. I'm so weird that I'll even like cook.
The meals.
And leave it prepared. She don't even gotta cook. And then if I'm gone for maybe like over 2 days where you can't cook too much, I also will leave money. Here, order this day. Like that's how it can't get
And
no
it's
easier.
not just with her.
Oh yeah, it's not just my mom. I'm like that with everybody.
Yeah, anybody,
Well, not everybody, because not everybody
Everybody,
watches my
yeah.
kids, but
but
Anybody
the people
needs
that,
the
that
very
are able
selective
to,
few.
she does
Like
it
my
all
best
of
friend Miranda watched them for me, and she pretty much was like, "You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous," because I'm talking about groceries on and all this. She's like, "Really, Ange?"
There's nothing wrong with it.
I just want to
Not
make sure
one
they're.
thing.
I just want to make sure
Especially when it
they're
comes to your
okay while I'm not. I don't like. It's just weird to me how people be like, "Here, watch my kids," and then keep it moving. It's like, so where's their extra clothes? Where's what they like? Where's this? I don't know.
I get it. Do you think any of that came from?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Did your mom do any of that when you were younger?
What?
Like when she left you with him, was there
Was she a
any like
micromanager?
kind of?
No, I cooked and cleaned.
Oh yeah.
I got taught at a very
That
young
was
age.
in episode 1 too.
Yeah, I did it, and if my sisters are on, they'll vouch for you. It was me. I cooked, I cleaned, I took care of them. It was me. And as weird as it sounds, like I have an 11-year-old downstairs. I can't imagine him being home here alone with the little ones and cooking, cleaning. It was just, I could honestly say I was probably a little rare, but I was good at it. Like I was.
Not only that, but it was also a different era where, you know,
It was.
there were things that you know, we was getting in the car without no seatbelt. It was sit
Yeah.
on car
Yeah,
seat.
right.
It was six of us in the station wagon.
Yeah, you're right. You're
In the
right.
back of the pickup.
Yeah. Look, we was taking the bikes down to the shopping center. Ain't nobody have a cell phone.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah.
Going to Kmart buying
Look,
spray paint equipment.
these days, you can't let your kids walk outside because first of all, they about to get hit because they got their head in the phone the whole time.
I caught my son doing that a few times, walking home from school, and I'm going to pick him up, and he's walking down the bike path like this. And I just pull up next to him and just
Like, what the hell you doing
That's how you get taken.
today? Back then we ain't get taken.
No, they didn't want us.
They didn't want us.
They didn't want
probably
us.
brought you
They
back.
wasn't ready for
Yeah,
this.
they be like, nah, here, say here, take it
Look,
back.
I ain't getting no ransom, so I'm going to
Yeah, y'all struggle just like me. Okay. So,
Go ahead.
would you say, or how would you describe how her experiences have affected your relationship? Has it impacted your relationship at all?
As far as what?
Negative or positive? Like, do you feel like it made her stronger in some sense? Do you feel like it has made her,
Yeah, it
you know,
made,
it's
it made her
difficult?
stronger, it made her loonier. It made her,
Loonier?
you know what I mean? It's a mixture of everything. Huh?
Somebody's not leaving.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. That's what I said when I said it.
I said that. We see each other every day. She nuts. But you know,
Y'all have a little
it's
bit
a
of
good
nuts
thing.
in our-
It's a good thing. You know what I mean? I enjoy how she is, and that shit don't bother me. That nutty shit don't bother me. You know, but
I'm not gonna say
Listen,
that.
no, it is, 'cause
listen.
nobody's perfect. I know
Look,
I ain't.
if you
I know I
can-
damn well ain't perfect.
if he can call you nutty after he wrote you a song,
He allowed.
listen.
But I
He
do
called
it.
him a natty loony. I'm like,
She's like,
Look,
That's
but the songs, that's what I do. That's easy for me. You know? Yeah, like I did the song Little Girl. I did another song called Me, You and Us about us.
oh yeah, that was a little.
Why we didn't hear that one?
Oh, that's right. We didn't. Well, because we were.
because we're telling the story
Yeah.
right now.
All right. Well, later. Maybe
Yeah.
when we
We're
talk about
unpacking
romantic
right now.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, I take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
No, it is rough for him.
Yeah.
Cause I could be So the thing,
Aggressive.
we're like,
Very
yeah,
aggressive.
I'm like this big and.
You know what I mean? It's like one of them angry ass chihuahuas. But the only thing.
Not the
this one
Chihuahua.
bites. You know what I mean? This one's like really aggressive, like a chihuahua.
Pause, you're
mixed
not
with
about to
pit
call
bull.
her a chihuahua.
No, he did.
No, because chihuahuas, they
No,
just
they
yak.
angry. She's like
They
a
just
chihuahua
yak.
mixed with a pit bull.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chihuahua, that's a
Like,
weird looking dog, but
Yeah.
But they feisty and they
yeah,
fast.
nah, it's just like when she on go, she on go. And I just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Which,
fuck away from
yeah,
Your
which
sister says-
is
she's protective with strength behind it. Not
Yeah.
everyone understands that.
which sister was that?
Real.
That was Millie. Now Jesse
And-
says she crazy.
Yeah, see?
And
But
but that, I mean,
in a good
that's a
way.
good thing. That
And
literally
see,
is a
what
good
I say
thing.
about her is, I see the way that she cares for kids. I see the way that she cares for her children, and it's not in like a coddling, like
It's not like a baby.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not like a.
It's not a way
That's
that
one thing we
like
don't
they're
do.
sheltered. It's not that they're sheltered.
They're not at
In
It's
our
that-
household, they don't get babies.
It's that
trust me.
like, you know, like you're not gonna.
It's
for
Mama Bear.
Yes.
Yeah, like
She's just really
don't
protective.
play with them, but don't play with me. Like
You know what I mean? I thought I was protective of my kids until I met her.
Mhm.
And
It's
then
a different kind of.
Yeah, it's a different kind of,
Yeah.
like you could,
because not everybody can find that balance of, you know what I mean? Like I'm protective, but I also want them to be good people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I'm
still teaching them.
still teaching. I'm still, you know what I mean?
I still have a purpose.
Having certain requirements.
Yes.
mhm.
You know, because honestly, and this is one thing that I've come to realize, a lot of women who have dealt with any type of abuse or a lot of women who have dealt with any type of disappointment from a man, right? They then baby their sons in a way that makes them like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like they're trying so hard to make up for what he didn't get or what he, you know what I mean?
Alright.
And it
When
works
you
against
get
them.
like that,
It does.
sometimes it creates like
A bigger
two
problem.
different things. Either
Mhm.
you get a kid that's just soft as shit and don't know how to handle anything, or you get a spoiled brat
A
that just
narcissist.
thinks he's a
Exactly.
Like
he can
he's
do whatever
entitled.
he wants.
Yep.
Yeah, entitled. That's the word I was looking
Mhm.
Yeah.
for. You know what I mean? So you gotta tread.
It's
Like,
like there's
when,
a
when
good
it comes to
there's
kids, you gotta
a
be
thin
careful.
line.
Yeah.
there is literally
Like
a
it's
thin
okay to
line.
be strict, but then you can't be that
You can be
strict.
too strict
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you don't want them to.
because then they act
Right,
out.
yeah. Right.
But then you can't be lenient.
It's hard.
There's
hard.
no
It's hard.
manual. Like the parenting period, there is no
It's
manual.
hard.
You do the best you can, but there's also common sense.
Mhm.
Like you don't put your kids in a situation that anything can happen. Like you're not just lax with anybody. You
Right.
don't just let them go wherever they want to go. Like you still have to draw boundaries. You cannot be their friend. You're not their friend. You still have to draw boundaries.
Because
You still have
essentially
to
you're not
teach
raising
them.
kids, you're
You're
raising
raising
little people to
productive
be adults.
adults. You want them to be a productive adult. You don't want them to go out here touching other kids. So it's a fine line. It is a work in progress. Annie's pulling the cameras in her damn house
I
again.
was. So, 'cause I can hear
It's,
my
it's
baby.
You better your dog or you
No,
your baby.
not, so I had, not the dog, my actual baby.
Yeah.
My youngest. I can,
That was that mama ear.
She
That's
said-
her mommy sense.
Wait a minute.
yeah. Yep.
It happens.
That be Siobhan. Look, she don't want nothing.
They don't gotta
That's
be in the
not,
same
that's not her.
room.
That's not her distress cry.
No. I know when something's wrong and when they want some attention.
Whole time I just be like, you don't hear your kid. She's like, that ain't the right cry.
Baby, alright.
She be alright.
Baby, alright. So I would ask Angie, so you guys were together for a couple years before you started sharing, like what you went through, and what does that look like today? Like, do you feel like you've been, like you put it all on the table and you know everything? Or do you feel like there's still things that and what does it take for you to share that information? Like, does he have to pull it out of you, or do you wait until pillow talk?
I think it's, it'll
Come,
Like how it came out the first few times.
yeah, like I just, nobody actually knows everything. to
And-
this
and-
day.
one of our conversations after after episode 1 was not only it's not that you're not trying to share information, it's that like things come in bits and pieces. Like you don't remember everything in that conversation. Like when you're having a conversation, you can't divulge everything that happened. Like sometimes, like even after episode 1, like I was talking to my brother, and I'm like, he's like, you don't remember this, you don't remember when this happened, and so many things happened that I either pushed out of memory or just wasn't important to me then, or just I forgot, that it made me rethink about like my experiences and how things happen, because I literally don't recall some of these things, and it could be trauma, it could be just like things that you wanted to forget, things that you don't want to have to relive, but things come back in bits and pieces. Things come back, like somebody might say something and it triggers a memory,
Yeah.
I remember when this happened, and then you're like reliving it all over again, kind of, and not always in a bad way, but it definitely it's never clear cut and dry. It just doesn't work that way. So I mean, I get it, and things can come out, as
And it's a blocking thing. Like you want to forget. You don't want
That
to
too.
remember.
Yeah, so for some people that is a trauma response, just like not intentionally blocking things out. Like that is literally like, I think that not just forgetting things unintentionally, but also a lot of people will take on someone else's memory, right? As a response to their own trauma. So if in a time period they're going through a trauma, they can then take on something that they've heard, something that they've seen,
And make it their own.
and make it their own. I've seen it happen.
It happens.
And the person would say to me like, "Oh, you don't remember when this, that, and the third happened?" And I'm like, "Dude, that never happened. But I know who you're talking about. Like,
I know who it did happen to.
I know who it happened to. But or
But it's
with
not
trauma, I've also seen like my brother had an accident. and-
Millie said it's called dissociative amnesia. Touche.
Look,
Yes.
I looked it up.
Millie,
You say that.
let me find out you were a psychology major.
No, she is.
Oh shit.
That's
Thank
what
you,
it is.
Millie.
That's my sister.
Thank
She
you,
is.
Millie.
She's studying.
Yes,
She's studying all
it
that.
literally is. It's you, and it's a response. It's literally
So,
just how it
like I said,
happens.
my brother had an accident and literally couldn't remember from the time he left the house that morning to the time he got out of the hospital. A 2-week gap. Just don't remember. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like he was sedated the whole
Yeah.
time. It was a 2-week gap that he doesn't remember. So it is a trauma response. A lot of times, our bodies, when we go through traumatic experience, yeah. And for some people, it's better that way
Yeah.
because
That's how they cope, and it's the only way to get through the experience.
But yeah, a lot of times trauma looks like a drunken night where you'll wake up the next morning and then throughout the day you'll be like, what happened?
Yeah, like a week later, you're like,
Right.
oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm in at least the alcoholic for drug abuse, but that's another
Yeah.
story.
We're not going
We're not going there.
We're not gonna go there.
So yes, so Stretch, while you were going, we had asked Angie, you know, if she felt like she has disclosed everything. When she said no.
Yeah, I
Do you
don't think
feel
so.
like you have? Like, do you feel like you want to know more? You need to know more. Or are you okay with her spacing out the information that she shares?
I mean, of course I would like to know everything, but I don't know how
How to go about it? Like how to get it working?
to react towards it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Even though I would like to know, because I would like to know who I'm around.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, I could be somewhere and just be around somebody and think everything's cool, and next thing you know,
And then
come to
she's
find
like,
out
yeah,
that's
when
one
I
of
was
the people,
little.
you
And
know
you're
what I mean?
like,
Damn, I wish I knew that. Maybe I could
shook him up a little bit.
Yeah. Introduce myself. You know, but
Introduce yourself.
yeah.
Who you is? How you know my wife?
But you know, I leave it up to her in her time. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't in no rush or anything.
He said I ain't going nowhere.
And I feel like it's definitely
Period.
been a good. I mean, I know she's been sharing information for a while, but I feel like it only gets better from here. Like,
Yeah.
she's definitely come so far,
In 2 weeks.
and literally, no 1
Yeah.
week, because it was like
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
the time we
yeah.
initially talked about it to today, it's been 8 days.
You should have seen her before.
And
Before
I
the
feel like
podcast
she has
Yeah.
become so much more comfortable in telling her experience, and that is major. Like that, being able to share your story openly, calmly, and to, be able to receive other people's information and questions, that's big. Like it's by leaps and bounds, it's huge. And to see her get there, and especially if you watch episode 1, look at her body language then and look at her body language now.
Yeah.
She's done so, like, it just gets better. She's getting better. So, I mean, I know you
I
guys
know. I mean, a lot of people, like, when they're telling their story, in the beginning, it's like, can't get through one sentence without the floodgates. So the fact that she's even like,
Well, I'm
like
not a big
every
crier.
every now and then you'll see the lip quiver, but now she's
Yeah.
but it's also like
I'm not a big crier.
she's
and
now
I
she's like I'm
do not
standing
like
on
to
top
cry
of
in
this
front of
thing.
people.
But you haven't even
You but you're standing on top.
There's
of
no
it.
quiver.
It's
There is no quiver. You
You're
were
on
like
top of the
on
hill right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, what helped with that was when I afterwards, my oldest, he watched it, and
I saw him in the comments on replay.
and just for him,
Talk about support.
just the hug and the I'm proud of you, and are you okay? How, you know, just that. And then he just turned 14 on Saturday. My second, and I'm saying in order like that I birthed, because I also have 2 bonus. But I sat back where we laid in the bed and we watched it together. Like I went back so he could hear it, and it was like, yeah, and that was intense because he's at that age, you know, and we had a rough time in 2021, you know. So just his reaction and the big hug, and
You felt supported. Like you felt the support.
that one touched me more than
Yeah.
Not only that, but it's like that's it's a win
yeah.
on the strength of, you know what I mean?
Parenting.
Like, yeah, because it's like, you know, for
He
your
did see
for
it.
your for your child to
Yeah.
be able to say, "Mom, I see you." That's a win.
I see you. I'm here for you. Like it's
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I'm not crying. I'm just
We know you're ice queen.
the cold one. We gotta ask tomorrow what is it? The cold one.
That's their Wi-Fi.
No,
It's like-
my Wi-Fi is off with her head.
Oh, that, yes.
I'm her, but I'm saved in her phone, or I was, as the cold one. Free space, free space, free space.
Not freeze.
But that's okay.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay.
So yeah, I think
Can you tell us though, before you, like, I want to know more about the song. Like, I don't know. How the hell?
like
What?
what was your thought process?
Like, was it because did you feel like it would incite something? Like,
No, honestly, I just was playing music, listening to beats, and I was just here by myself. And then, honestly, it just came out. It's like one line led to another line, then another line, and another line.
So you
and
started
I'm
at
like,
the beginning.
yeah, with the chorus came out first. The first thing that popped in my head was "Little Girl, Little Girl, Hold On."
and then it's like it's a catchy part of the song. It is
Yeah.
a catchy part of the song.
Yeah, and then once I got to the verses, I think I wrote like 1 or 2 lines, and it was like immediately I was like,
This is
oh
it.
shit, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and it just came out. Just because it was like during that time when I wrote that song, I was writing and rewriting a lot of stuff because I didn't want to regret it later.
Oh, in this song, you were writing.
No, not this song, just writing in general.
Okay. Okay.
I was writing a lot of songs that I was being vocal about things I didn't like, things I was seeing, and the things that people were doing, and I would go back and change it. And be like, I can't give you guys satisfaction with that.
Okay.
And when that song came up, it was like,
I can do
Yeah,
this.
this
Like
is
I
right.
can put it. Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I looked at it like she needed that. She needed the song. You know what I mean? To help her like come out of her shell. You know what I mean? It was like yeah, I wrote it. I sung the song, but it was like she was singing. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like that. Like she was in me as I was writing it. Like it was really her, but it was me.
I feel like it helped
And-
her to feel you in
Through, yeah.
right. It helped her to feel that you saw her.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And you were able to take her story and
Yeah.
put it to your art.
Cause I'm not like I could do like the music and stuff like that, but like sitting there and talking, I'm not that good with that. You know what I mean?
That was a wonderful story.
That's so that's how I'm more. I can express myself more. You know what I mean? Like I can sit there and just put my thoughts on either on my phone or on paper and then put it behind music and bring it to life. And that song, I really liked that song when I was writing it because it was all true. You know, I like writing songs that are real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not just about her being that it was real, it was a real subject.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Shit like that goes on everywhere.
Yeah.
And nobody says anything.
There was a part of the song that I don't think we really uncovered as far as the you were talking about how
Well, Kid Stretch, can you give us the verse?
What, with that miscarriage?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, had so many miscarriages, yet she didn't know why. But her body rejected girls, so they won't live what I described. When I wrote that, I was thinking about the miscarriage she had in between all her kids. And in my head, I used to think they were girls. You were having girls, and your body's like, no, hell no, I'm not bringing no
I
girls.
was like, what
It's
you
just
talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
and I really believe that.
He really believed that
And then-
first. And I was like, yeah, whatever.
You know, and then I put it in the song.
And I went, we were pregnant with our last son, you go for genetic testing. They're like big on that because I have a history of miscarriages, my age, and all that. So they were like going, and she was intrigued. Like, she was just like what the?
Like you're having these miscarriages, and you're having these successful pregnancies.
Yeah, like I full healthy 5 babies I birthed, but then it's like over 10 miscarriages, and nobody knew why. Like they could never tell me why, and I was like, I don't care. I was like, whatever. It's like I was accustomed to it. It was just like all my kids are rainbow babies. I had 2 to 3 miscarriages in between each kid, and but I knew I could. It was like once I gave birth to Kyle, then it was just like, oh, I'm gonna get another one, and she was just like, do you mind if I look more into your history and stuff? And I was like, sure. I was just like, at that point, I didn't care. I was giving birth to my last boy. When I went back to the appointment, she said, no, you were right. There's nothing in your history that's wrong with you. Like, there's nothing on there. But I am going to say this, though. Every miscarriage you had was female.
Wow.
Everyone.
And at that point, did you think about like what you had been through? Like, did you correlate them? Did you think
Yeah.
like like
It had to be that. It was like,
it's not meant for me?
it was, but you know what though? As a kid, I always said I didn't want daughters.
Like, what am I gonna do with that?
Like, I really didn't. Like, as a kid, I was just like,
Like, what do they eat?
Now what do they eat?
I just was like,
And I have all girls at this point, and I couldn't imagine what am I doing with a boy?
yeah.
What do they eat?
I love sons. It's
Yeah,
me.
she's a
It's
boy
me.
mom.
It's my thing.
She is a boy mom.
Yeah, I'm the. Everyone's the. Oh my God, you had so many boys because you were looking for that girl. No, I wasn't.
I didn't care about the girl.
I know I wasn't. I'm not saying that, oh, they're so cute. They are. Girls are cute and everything, but just, I'm a boy mom, and I never imagined myself having a daughter. I really never
She's
did.
nutty with the boys. Imagine if she had a girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I drive my nieces and then the other
Yeah.
little girls crazy. Poor girls.
yeah, but
It's all love.
It's all
They looking at me like, why can't I go downstairs and play with my cousin? Because you
Because
can't.
you're a girl and you're a
Yeah.
boy.
Y'all want to play, y'all gonna play right here in front of me.
Mhm.
That's another part of it.
But yeah, it's crazy what the body does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How it gives and takes.
Yeah.
And to not even, I mean, because
I think
I guess
God
that's-
knew what was up because I drive myself
scientifically
crazy.
you would think
Listen,
she's
I
stressing.
think that
I stress over my
But
son.
there's a lot of divine intervention too. Like it's like I don't want to put you through that. Like imagine if she had a girl. Imagine the kind of stress that you would go through when she walks out of this door, when she's in someone else's
Everything.
care.
Mhm.
Like it would just you would have killed yourself.
I think so.
It's stressful enough, even with boys. But with a girl, you just have that, you're even more of a mama bear.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't want them to go through certain things. So, I get it.
Sorry.
Now she gotta run after me and see Mama Bear.
Little Mama Bear.
Mama Bear. Listen, I get it. And I understand. You know.
Jamara says, your strength is everything.
Millie said, I'm telling Moya you said you're a boy mom. Millie, why are you trying to get her in trouble? Johnson said your song was beautifully written, Stretch.
Thank you, thank you.
Stan gave the...
Yeah, my guy right there.
Siobhan, because I want to fight him.
Okay. So we're going to go into...
Sorry.
Are you hot?
No, I had put it.
You told me.
So I have a special guest who's just always freaking late, but we're going to start. Anyway, I'll recap my experience. Why you sound like that, Liam?
Because
So, in episode 1, I just, brief synopsis, you gotta watch episode 1 because I'm not going through all of it.
man, you did a brief synopsis of episode 1 too.
Did I? No, I
You
did.
was like, that's what happened. Boom.
She started,
Next.
she did the first time, and then the Wi-Fi went wrong. And they-
Yeah, but
did it
even the
again.
way she still even the way she describes it, you be like,
Okay, so, I mean, long story short, I had my first child. I'm going to try to speak up. I had my first child in 2003. I was a senior in high school. Not boasting, but I still graduated. Don't get me wrong. And it was a boy. It's Jordan. So, that was 2003.
Say his name.
Jordan. Okay. That was 2003. In 2007, he spent the weekend, or a week maybe, with his dad, and I get a phone call. So he spent the week, or a couple days, whatever, with his dad. I lived in Sicklerville at the time. I was working in Belmar at the post office, a little seasonal position. And I get home from work. I get a phone call from my cousin, and she's like, "Come, you gotta come." I don't remember exactly what she said or how I got back home, but she told me to come back home basically. Something had happened. I know that she wasn't specific. She did not tell me exactly what was going on, because I remember driving back here and coming down 42 and just like praying like everything was okay. I did cry. I know I cried, but it was a cry like just like everything be okay that I didn't expect, you know. So I get here, I went to Shore Memorial, I pull up at Shore Memorial, I see a lot of my family members. I still don't think it like connected to me, like something was wrong. I think I did know that it was Jordan that I was, you know, coming for. So I get there, you know, his dad. So this is where, again, some dissociative amnesia. I remember seeing his dad, and that he was distraught. He was crying. He was in a chair. He didn't really look me in the eye. I looked at him generally. Like I don't think I was trying to look him in the eye. I just noticed that he was upset. I noticed he was crying. Somehow I'm in a room with a doctor who was explaining to me that he had an injury. His clavicle was broken. His liver was lacerated. He bled out essentially, and he had passed away. He didn't make it. So then another part that my brother had to remind me, like I do remember flailing. Like I remember like you kind of like just lose control of your body. It's just like, you know.
I think that's when I got to the hospital. I think I walked in right after you. So when I walked in, I just heard you screaming. Like, you know what I mean?
See, I don't even remember if it was like a I know I lost control. I know like my body did more than I was capable of controlling. And I know like my brother
I
was
don't know if
next
that
to
room
me.
was close to where we were in the waiting area, but it was like walking into that already knowing what's going on, and it was like somebody like takes their fingers across the you know what I mean, across the chalkboard. It was so gut wrenching because you already know what happened, and it's like,
Oh, you had already known?
when they called me at work, Ronnie was the one who called me. Ronnie was the one who called me, and she said, "Have you?" Whenever and that if you want to make my anxiety go through the roof, say, "Have you talked to so and so?"
Oh, that too.
Or
I
has
can't
anybody
take
called
that.
you? That's like
Instant what happened.
instantly. Have you heard from so and so? Have you talked to so and so? That's like, because every time something happens, that's what, you know what I mean? That's usually, it's like, I just want to know what I'm getting myself into. So have you talked to, so she says, did daddy call you? Or something to that effect. And I'm like, no, why? And she's like, so apparently something happened to Pootie and he didn't make it. So I'm like, what? Like, he's 4. Like, what are you saying?
And Pootie was his nickname, so I don't know who gave him that. Pootie Tang. I think it might have been Courtney.
I don't know, but mind you, I'm at the front at work. I was hosting at Carrabba's at the time. So when I kind of processed, all I could think is, Courtney's going to lose it. Because she was locked up at the time.
Yes.
And
That was another part that I did not remember.
But literally, after I got off the phone, she was like, they're at Shore Memorial. And I remember calling my ex-K. Shout out to him because he was not a hospital person. And the fact that he took me and he sat with me and he, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, no. But he did. He picked me up, took me to Shore Memorial. But it was like, all I could think was, Courtney's gonna lose it. That was all I could think. So, go in the office at work, my boss was like, are you okay to drive? And I was like, somebody's coming to get me now. When we got to the hospital, I literally walked in 5 seconds after you got me back. And Nay was actually standing right at the I guess she walked in right before me as well, and she was standing right at and she just looked me in my eyes, and we hear you, and it was just like, OMG. Like, what in the...
So did you see him?
I did. And another thing that, made me feel like it couldn't have been, because when he came up to me, I guess this was after the fact, and everybody was kind of now starting to disperse. He came up to me and he went to give me a hug, and he was like, yo, I don't got nobody else.
So remember that. Go ahead.
He was like, first my sister, now my baby. I don't got nobody else. I remember
this.
I remember that this is the dad. So he's, you know what I mean? And again, I've known him all my life. Yeah, I know he was a little slow, but
we're gonna stop saying that. We're gonna stop saying it. But he is. But we're gonna stop saying it. Okay, go ahead.
But you know what I mean? It was just to me, it was just, okay, something happened, and then I know that the rumors started that he was already sick, and he had sickle cell, and all these other things. But yes, his reaction was very much like, oh my gosh.
That's Kamora's dad's voice.
I mean, they not too far apart. If we're being honest.
God.
If we're being honest, they was there. But yeah, he was, I don't got nobody else. First my sister, now my baby. And I was like, hey, this is a lot. So yeah.
So I remember, I know how, I remember the moment, and then I remember they let me go to see him, and it was actually kind of like a secluded, it was still like trauma bay kind of, but it was secluded, the curtains were drawn. I don't remember anybody else being back there. I do remember sitting by his side, and he didn't have a shirt on. I don't remember him having a shirt on. And because his arms were bare, I saw a bruise on his arm, and just took a mental note. Like, I didn't think anything about it. I just took that mental note. I saw the bruise. He had, a tube down his throat. He had his pajama pants on. There was a blanket covering him, and it was just like, and I don't even remember, other than sobbing, over the bedside. I don't remember feeling anything at that moment. Just like, kind of like, you're saying goodbye type thing, or just like, this is my baby, or this is whatever. So that was basically the hospital. That's what I remember at the hospital. I leave the hospital. I go to my grandma's house. Maybe that night, maybe the next night, the prosecutor's office came. They said that they were trying to talk to him. They needed to interview him, and he wasn't speaking to them. But in order for they weren't. It just had to be the next day because we were looking to get the death certificate so that we could do the funeral. They wouldn't, not the death certificate. We were looking to get the body. They weren't releasing the body until they interviewed him. So I went to his mom's house to see him, to talk to him about, doing the interview, talking to the prosecutor's office, so that we can get the body, so that we can do the funeral. So he was in his mom's room playing a video game when I walked in. They had friends and family over her house, and we had the conversation. I told him what needed to happen, and he basically, I guess he agreed. Essentially, he agreed. Go back to my grandma's house. The next day ish, the prosecutor's office came back and they told me that they had arrested him, that he had admitted to hitting him. They felt like it was more than. So I still don't know. All I know is what the interview tape said. Like, they played the interview tape, in court. And he basically said that he was playing in the water. He backhanded him. And later, he was drowsy on his mom's bed. And even that part was unclear. Kirk could probably shed a little bit more light. But what I remember was he was on his grandmom's bed. His grandmom comes home, finds him, I guess, lethargic and kind of
lethargic,
tired-ish, and a little unresponsive, and she called 911. So that was what I got out of, or what I remember, which I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. And then the, I guess, autopsy kind of indicated that it was more than what he said it was. Like, it wasn't just he backhanded him and that was it. Like, there were other injuries that indicated that it was something more than that. So after episode 1, I called my loser ass brother, who's still late, and so I went to his house and I was like, "Oh, did you watch the episode?" He was like, "Oh, mind you, my man sleeps with his eyes open, and he's here now." So I go over there and I'm like, "Did you watch it?" He hadn't watched it, so he replayed it, and he calls me afterward and he's like, "You don't remember this, and you don't remember," like, he was like corrected so many things that in my mind I had gotten right, but I had gotten wrong. And I was like, well, I remember it, but I don't remember it as clearly as he does. And he even added on to, that night and what he remembers and some of the interactions that he had. And I was like, damn, like, and so the conversation pretty much was like, we've never had this conversation. Like, I have never discussed with my brother, of all people, and I'm
with anyone.
Courtney and I have talked about, Courtney and I always, like, we will talk about our memories, we will talk about everything. Like, there's no holds barred with Courtney. But with Kirk, we've never really had the conversation. We've never talked about, what that night looked like for either of us. And I kind of feel like we might have just, like, tiptoed around the conversation because, like, I don't know what his experiences were, and I guess maybe he doesn't know what my experiences were. So you don't want to trigger something more. You don't know how they're going to react to the conversation. So come on over.
Man,
Siéntate, muchachos, siéntate. So basically, I just
This
gave,
is Kirk. This is Kirk. This is Siobhan's brother.
I gave a recap on the situation and what I remember from that night. Tell us what you remember from that night.
From which point?
From how did you? Let's start with how did you know to go to the hospital?
I got a call. Well, I spoke to Jordan earlier that day.
I was trying to avoid that part, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
And you're acting so bright in this way, but go ahead.
It's kind of crazy. I spoke to Jordan earlier that day, and he told me he didn't feel good, and he asked me could I pick him up, and you had told me to let him stay with his dad because he needed to spend time with his dad or whatever. So I told him I would pick him up later, and a couple hours later I got a call and said go to the hospital. Jordan had passed away. I mean, Jordan had passed out. He was thirsty and he passed out. So I ran to the hospital and.
When you got to the hospital, who was there?
When I first got there, it was me, D, Bud, of course, his mom.
I don't say his name, but go ahead.
Okay. Oh, my bad. His dad, his
He who
mom,
shall remain.
Who shall remain nameless?
his mom,
The man without a face.
his mom, and that was really it when we first got there.
Okay. And did you know at that point like that he had passed away?
No.
Okay, so when did you find out that he passed away?
Probably about like a half hour from being there. Yeah, about a half hour from being there.
And how did you find out?
Well, they came in, they told me, and then we were sitting there, and a cop came in, and the cop started talking to his mom, and
Because now they're trying to figure out, okay, what actually happened. It's not just because in any other instance, if
The cops don't show up.
right? If a child just goes to the hospital with the ambulance, the cops are not just oh, let's see what's going on. So at this point, they already knew that there was a situation.
And I don't remember seeing cops. I mean, I'm not focused on that. I'm not looking at that.
But by the time you were there, they had already did their questioning and they booked up.
So the cops are there,
Mhm.
and they're questioning who?
His mom.
And well, so you're watching them question her?
Yeah, well, I wasn't really paying that much attention. Actually, D kind of like made me notice it. He like nudged me. We were sitting there listening, and then I had my head down. I wasn't really paying no attention. And then as the cop was questioning him, D was like, he went like that. He's like, "Yo, you heard that?" I'm like, "Nah." He's like, "Somebody lying," and I'm like, "You bugging?" I'm just thinking it wasn't nothing of it. So I wasn't really paying no mind because I was still thinking about having to tell you when you came down. So, because I think I had just called you right before that to see if you were almost there or not. And
He good for Russian people too.
That's what it was. Ronnie, they had called Ronnie to have Ronnie go get you because she was the closest in proximity.
I'm telling you, things come back in pieces. Okay.
That's what it was. But by the time that she had gotten ready to go get you, you were already on your way down. That's what it was. But continue.
so then you showed up. I told you, and we had to go through that little scene or whatever. And then we went in the back, and that was when we went back, and me, you, and him went back there and viewed his body. And then
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember who I was with. I remember sitting in the chair beside the bed. I don't know if anybody. I don't remember anyone being with me.
yeah, it was me, you, and him, because that was like, at first, because I didn't know nothing about what was going on. Remember, I kind of hugged him and told him it was all right. You know, what I mean, things happen, whatever.
And what happened?
I mean, he cried on my shoulder for a little bit, and like I said at that time, I didn't know nothing of what was going on.
So because this was what did he say to you? Because Guga just said like she greeted him, and he said the same thing.
He said.
Don't tell him what he
Oh,
said.
sorry.
What did he say to you when you?
He said, the only thing I remember him saying was something about him asking for me or something.
What about Jordan asking you?
Yeah, about playing his trucks or something. Or no, that might have came later. That was something that came later. I don't know. I don't remember what he said.
He was crying.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember him crying, but I don't remember what he said. I don't think I was even thinking about that.
You can say
And
that.
he said to me, when y'all came out of the back, he went in for a hug and he was like, man, I don't got nobody else. First my sister,
Oh,
then my baby.
I do remember him saying that. Oh, that's crazy. I do remember him saying that.
You told me that's what he said to you.
Yo, I
And
didn't remember that.
I was like,
I
that's
do
weird,
remember him
but
saying that now. I don't even know why. I don't even know. I never thought about that again.
Pieces and pieces.
What was your, like, we've all known, what was your relationship with him at,
Oh.
like, at that time?
I mean, we wasn't as close as we was when we was little, but when we were little, we were like,
That was good.
we was always together. Like, you know what I
That
mean?
was good.
We spend that at my house, you know what I mean? So, I mean, they were going together since they were like 11 or 12 years old, so he was always around. But, I mean, we were friends before they started messing around, though. So, that was like later on.
So, and that was another one. Like, what was your relationship? So that's okay. So, personally, like, what effects do you feel like you've had? This has had on you. Like, do you feel like this is the experience itself has impacted you in any way? Like, even then, what do you feel like? How do you feel like do you feel like it made any difference then?
At that point, or you talking about now?
At that point.
At that point, yeah, definitely. I had a lot of animosity in the beginning because of the fact that I had hugged him and all that, and I didn't know what had transpired. And then that night when we were at the house and the detectives came by and said they were ruling it a homicide, like it kind of messed me up in my head a little bit.
And then, how about now in adulthood? Do you think that it's affected?
Definitely, because I mean, there's not many people that I can like be comfortable with leaving my kids with, and like I feel uncomfortable, you know, just leaving and then, you know, not like. I mean, it's certain people that I've trusted
Of course.
since, you know, my kids have been born, but I just don't want to leave with anybody.
Now, you said that, you know, in the beginning that Jordan called you.
Mm-hmm.
He called you, and was this prior to?
It had to be after it happened, but he didn't say what it was. He just said he didn't feel good.
Don't say that.
What?
I know that.
You didn't know that.
No, I felt like you called you earlier that day.
No, that's why I told you, like, it made me so upset because if I would have picked him up, maybe it wouldn't have went the same way it went. So when he called, he was like, he said, he's like, well, Kirk, you can pick me up, and I'm like, yeah, I'll come get you later. I just kept like trying to brush him off because you had said let him stay with his dad. So then he was like, he said he don't feel good, and I'm like, all right, but I didn't, you know, I'm thinking like that fake, I don't feel good, so he can come and do what everybody else was doing. So I didn't think nothing of course, nothing of that until after everything transpired, and then when the cop came and said the homicide thing, that's when it kind of like hit me and kind of hurt me a little bit.
Do you think you still carry that?
Yeah. Y'all turning this into something else.
I don't know if my mascara is waterproof,
I'm glad we didn't talk about that.
Do you feel like you have closure? Like, you feel like not knowing what really happened, do you feel like that matters? Like, you care that you don't know exactly what happened?
Actually, that was like one of the biggest things that I had a problem with for a long time. Was like I would have my own little visions and stuff like that, and then to not know what he went through at, you know, towards the end, the kind of fear he had, or the fact that he called me and asked me to come get him, like that weighed on me for a long time.
When you say a long time, do you think that there was finally a time that you were kind of like?
Nah, I mean, I still go through it from time to time.
Yeah. You think about where
Like where he would be at this.
Oh yeah, all the time. Especially now, like I have that my son's older, and like just thinking about how he was, like what kind of boy he was at the time, and then to look at my son and be like, oh, I wish he'd have kicked your little ass or something. But like, yeah, and definitely with Kimura, I always think about it. Like, I wish you would kick your little ass. Yeah, definitely.
Why was it your first thought?
I don't know, because Kimura gets under my skin sometimes. So,
She gets under everybody's skin.
I'm just telling you. I mean, she's still my baby, but.
So obviously you know about like the rumors, you know, people saying that it wasn't his dad who did it, or he wasn't responsible for it. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I had a different outlook until the situation I had when I was down in prison, and like I had always had a feeling of like when I saw him, what I was going to do or whatever, and we had a run-in while we were in prison, and I was locked in a cage working out, and they were on the basketball court, and I saw like a shot, and I'm like, damn, I know that. I did just instantly like clicked in my head who it was, and I'm like, oh shit. So I get up, but then when I get up, we're locked in the cage, and he was gone. So I go back to my cell, and I was like heated, and I was like, I was going through it or whatever. So my bunkie, shout out Hop from North, but anyway, he,
I hope you're watching.
yeah. So anyway, now me and him we had a real conversation, and he was like, he kind of broke it down to me. He was like, listen, bro, he's like, you don't know what he go through in his head at night. You don't know, you know, at the end of the day, because I never could say that he didn't love Jordan. So I never doubted that part. I thought it was negligence on his behalf or whatever. But Hawk really broke it down to me, and he was just like, you know, you don't know what that man goes through. Every night he got to see his face. Every night he got to go through certain demons or whatever. And as I thought about it for a while, I'm like, damn, you know, that's kind of true. I don't know what he go through. If I go through it, I can only imagine what he goes through. So it kind of like softened the blow a little bit. So then we had a conversation in prison, which, you know, it wasn't a long conversation. It was just, you know, how I felt about the city, like what I always told myself what was going to happen when I seen him, and then knowing that at the end of the day, you know, having that new outlook, I just didn't want to react that way. But I said, I don't know what's going to happen later. I don't know how we'll see each other later or what's going to happen. But I was able to kind of like put it down a little bit, because I understand like he probably goes through way more demons than.
So you believe that the rumors weren't true?
No, I know the rumors weren't true. I bypassed those because I don't feel there's no validity to it, because when it first happened.
Which rumors?
The rumors of him getting hit in the barbershop, like when it first happened, like we went around like asking and stuff like that, and I don't believe there was any validity to it. Plus, nobody is going to go through.
Not only that, but it's always a game. It's always a game of telephone. One thing, you know what I mean? One person can say, well, what if it wasn't? And then somebody turned it in.
I heard it wasn't.
That was the story.
I think it was more of the fact that.
Or people trying to deflect.
Yeah, and people not knowing.
Him, not knowing what?
Well, not only not knowing him, but also not knowing anything about the situation. You know, once that rumor caught fire of somebody hitting them, then it was like, you know, nobody wants to believe that a parent would do something like that to their kids. So of course it would pick up traction after that. So I mean, I can understand why he never wanted to admit to it, because that looks kind of crazy, but
he did. But he did. Like,
I mean,
if he didn't want, like, I can understand if he, you know, always stood on it wasn't me,
right?
But you didn't stand on it wasn't me. You said you did. So so these people can't be saying no, he didn't do it after he already said he did, man.
Yeah, but
sir,
I mean, the people that say that, they don't really have any bearing on.
Right, touche, and that's part of my train of thought. But just, you know, for anyone else who thought that the rumor was true.
I can see gum in my mouth, right?
So you haven't seen him?
I don't have drunk gum, but I had alcohol.
Really?
It's a low calorie.
I don't even know where your mouth was. I'm just joking.
Well, no,
And she said,
Cringe
"My
face.
dad." I just said- Anyway,
Anywho, so you said you didn't know you didn't know how you would react if you saw him. So he's home.
mm-hmm.
And you haven't seen him.
Yeah, I have.
How did that go? Did you see him in close proximity? Like, I see you, you see me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how that went?
I mean,
Are you going to be incriminating yourself?
no, I didn't do anything. I mean, like I said, I've kind of gotten to the point now where I've gotten not over the loss, but over
The sting.
the aspect of feeling like I got a whole court in my hand, or vengeance, something like that. Like, I understand that it was a mistake on his behalf, and like I told you, I had a lot of nights to think about it. Like after we had the conversation, like it played in my head a lot, and it was something that I couldn't even imagine, beating my child or something, and or thinking that I'm toughening them up or whatever the case may be, and then having to live with that for the rest of my life. Like I wouldn't even be able to live with myself. So I know that that's something that coming back out, especially coming back out into society, and then having to pick
Coming
back
back
up.
out into a society
That where it happened.
Yeah, and not only that, it's just like you think about somebody who goes to jail for rape or something like that they didn't do, and then to come home and then to try to have to pick back up, get a job, resume their life, it's hard. And then to think about something like that you actually have to live with, and you got to think about every day when you get up to go to work or whatever you're doing in your life, that got to be a crazy thing. So I mean,
We're not giving passes though.
who am I?
But essentially, what he's saying is he's found compassion just for just
What
for
he
that
said.
lot in life, and far be it for me to, like you said, try to hold court,
Mhm.
and because he got to answer to
whatever.
Just-
his thoughts alone
right.
are enough, because I go through my own thoughts with it, so I can only imagine seeing him last and all that. I can only imagine
Or seeing the deterioration, at where my mind is going. That does have to be.
Yeah, and I think that in itself is punishment enough for somebody. Because I get upset when my son act like I'm not getting him something that he wants. So I know I can only imagine what it have, if it was something else. So
I ain't gonna lie, when I saw him, I froze. Because I didn't know what, if we met eyes, I didn't know what he was going to expect, and I didn't know what to expect.
So my biggest thing with that is I feel more anger towards the people that knew Jordan growing up, that knew the scenario, knew the situation, and then they acted like nothing happened, and then they're just.
Because I'm not asking you.
And
I'm
it's
not asking you to put him in the dirt.
No, it's about the
but-
fact of when if something happened to your child and it was somebody, you would expect me to hate him for life.
Right.
You would expect me
Right.
to do whatever you felt as though was right for how you looked at it. But never once did anybody take her feelings into consideration.
But
or-
also, not only have we not taken her feelings into consideration, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, we have not had a conversation. So to a lot of people, it looks like she's, she's in a much better place. So if we're trying to dance around her feelings, because that's what we've felt like we've had to do. If there's no conversations, again, I'm not offended until I tell you that I'm offended. We don't know.
Well,
we
I
don't
think that's offensive
exactly
in itself, though.
It's offensive if you know that that's what her expectations are.
No, I think it's offensive for the simple fact that I know the expectation that you will hold me to.
Right. But
Yeah,
at the same time, I'm also not expecting me out of people.
I get that, but at the end of the day, there are certain topics and subjects that are just you
would think it's common sense, but it's not.
It's just
Common sense ain't that common. And then on top of that, you also have to consider the sources. You also have to consider how those people move anyway. You know what I mean?
Understood.
So, and I'm not saying that to give anybody passes, but some things it's just like that's not a surprise. That's,
I mean,
you know what I mean? That's not. But
it's not a
again,
surprise, but it's a reason to cut you off.
Yeah, to
right?
me, I feel
And
like,
which is absolutely fine. But I'm just saying, playing devil's advocate. Literally, this is the first time we've even.
Yeah, but
It's
but
a
And I
Right.
consider and right.
Talk about that.
Now, I consider Siobhan an extra sister, right? So if this is the first time we're even, I don't even really know, like.
but that's more of a reason that I will hold it in close regard because of the fact that we
No,
didn't
I
talk
know.
about it. So the fact that we didn't talk about it, I wouldn't want you to feel like I stepped over a boundary or something like that. So I would feel obligated to not
right.
until we speak about it.
We would, but
Touche.
you know what I mean. But again, not everybody is. We not all playing with the same deck. You know what I mean? Like we're not all playing with the same cocktail. That you know the things that have made you the person that you are. So I find nothing wrong with cutting people off. But I'm not surprised by. You know what I mean? You move like that anyway. I'm not surprised by it.
I don't think.
And to clear the air, right? I don't expect anyone, family, friends, whatever. I don't expect anyone to side with me because just off GP. But anyone with loyalty, any parent, anyone who,
Mine is that.
or even anyone who's known
Jordan.
my son.
So that's the part that I think is.
If you've known
important.
him, why would you not feel slighted by the situation?
Especially the people that were around from the time he was born, and they've held him. They made jokes about how he was a little grown man and all that. Like
I
so.
still try to find the lyrics to that song.
So
I don't know if he made it.
I think
He did.
I think with any of those people, I think that's a problem because that just shows your character, and I don't see who could I don't see somebody that could just do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You say you don't see some baby, but you see some.
I mean, no,
you see some
I
people
just
do that.
I guess it's alien to me because I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I'm finding out in this season that you can't. You know what I mean? Like nothing can surprise you.
Nothing surprises me.
Because you know what I mean. You can't expect you out of you know what I mean. What you would do, or you can't be frustrated with people because they don't do
Respond
you how
the way
they
you
don't. Not even they don't do you how you would do. They don't do you how you do them.
Well, that's
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
why,
That's the problem.
but that's why you kind of got to operate off of understanding more than expecting somebody to understand you because it's like driving. You know how somebody teaches you when you're younger. You got to think for other people.
Right.
So it's like if you operate off understanding, then you can kind of bypass the rest of it because the majority of the people.
And I think that's where you found your happy medium in a place of I'm not rushing to be in his presence. No, I'm not.
Yeah, like
you know
I don't think we can be friends or nothing.
all those things or trying to regain something, but at the same time, I'm also giving grace where it's really not necessary. It's really not. You know what I mean? It's really not warranted. But that's what it is. It's grace. You know what I mean? It's unmerited favor. It's or it's mercy. It's not giving you what you deserve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've found a place where
But
I don't have to
I
be.
think we're just biased with saying that because it was somebody that we love. But we hear stories and we hear stuff on TV and we could say like, oh, that was an accident, or I know he didn't mean that or whatever. But because it happened to us, we look at it from a whole different perspective. So everybody standing at a different point is going to have a different perspective.
Now, when you say it was somebody, it happened that when you're talking about Jordan was somebody that we love. That's why we can look at it that way.
Yeah. So we'll have that feeling because of the fact that it was a kid that we loved and that we were raising or around all the time. But how many times have we seen things on TV and we can say that it was sad, but we don't look at the parent like they were the worst thing in the world because that it was an accident or it was just
Giving grace.
a lapse of judgment. So because it was done to us, we look at it like it was the worst thing in the world, and it was, you know,
Subjectively.
yeah, it was, but at the same time, you know, we gotta look at it like it gotta be universal. If it's done the one way, you know, we gotta look at it from both sides. So
For everyone, like, and that was part of our, not really a call to action, but it's, you know, April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, Sexual
Oh, I didn't know that.
Abuse Awareness Month. That's why we're doing this. And one of the things that we can do as people, as humans, is to advocate for children and to be the adult that can see something going wrong with a child or see something happening to a child and be that trusted adult that gets them safe or puts the right people, you know, on to what's going on. So
yeah, and I think that's a big thing, because so many times you hear about people not paying attention to what their kids are saying, whether it's because of a relationship or whether it's because you know, they don't want to believe it or whatever it is, and then, you know, that has to be like one of the worst signs of betrayal, when, you know, you expect somebody to understand.
yeah,
I mean, Angie's story has been a story of betrayal,
Betrayal.
and her mother, you know what I mean? Like when she told her mom was kind of like, oh my gosh, he's really going to go to jail. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't
Like,
do this to him.
don't do this to him. Like, and her saying like, mom, it happened like a few times.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Then being her mother and her uncle, I'm sorry, I'm telling you a story. Her mother and her
Got it,
uncle
though.
pretty much put her in a car and was like, you gotta change your story, because you know what I mean? So then at that moment, what it did was it made her, like you said, it was betrayal.
Yeah.
And then it made her grow up quicker, because now I know the people who are responsible for me
Yeah.
are not responsible for me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And-
it kind of makes you feel like you're alone in a sense.
Ain't no kind of.
Yeah,
That
well,
is.
definitely.
That is
can
how
agree
I
with that.
felt.
How do you think that it impacted you as a parent? Like, do you think that there are things that you're like, yeah, this is what I gotta do because of,
In which aspect?
like, do you think that it at all changed the way that you would have parented?
Oh yeah, like I barely hit my son. He can get on my nerves. He can get on anybody. Like sometimes he
He
deserves.
said no.
He deserves to get hit a lot, but he don't even get hit. So it's a lot of things.
too.
You right, you don't.
Deserve it. It's a lot of things. Yeah, like even the way like, you know, when he wants something, and I feel like I just feel like I have to make sure that he has whatever it is that he wants. Even that alone is something that I feel like comes from the lack that I feel when it comes to Jordan, because Jordan was actually like my first son. So like, even though that was her first son, that was like,
it was our shared
It was
kid.
all-
It
that
was all three of our kids.
Definitely. Like I remember buying him that Corvette. Like,
I remember
when
the
I had
Corvette.
a tow truck company. I went and bought him a Corvette from Toys R Us. It was like a big. It was like when they first came out with
For learning how to walk.
It was like a remote. It was like the.
He was gonna learn how to
It
do
was
it
the.
anyway.
It was the battery operated
You ain't
car.
nothing special.
But look, it had
Give
a
me a
real
car.
radio and all that, and I pulled up with it on the back of the tow truck like it was a real car. And then
And
we
somebody
took it
has
off.
the picture of him and Lena
Helena,
in the
yeah,
car.
yeah.
Probably Helena.
I know I've seen it before. I don't remember. when.
Somebody has the darn picture, but
Yeah, but that was like my first son. Like I felt like that was my kid. So like I told her that the first day when my son was first born, we went to go see him, and I didn't have no feelings towards my son at first, and I'm like, I felt bad because I'm like, damn, I don't really feel nothing, and I think it was because of
Cover
the
your ears.
fear. No, I told him before. I think it
You're
was
like, dang.
I
You
think-
ain't never told me
I
that.
can tell you that. So I think it was the fear of like losing Jordan and the pain I went through. I think it was the fear of that made me feel like disconnected at first to him, and then it took like a couple days for me to like really get to
Grasp.
the realization like, yo, this is
Right,
mine.
to
Like,
register
yeah, like
is what it
this is my first actual kid. Like, so yeah, it took a little bit for me to really understand that he was mine.
What do you think? So y'all have never had a conversation,
No.
and were there things that you're like, were you kind of like doing the same thing we were all doing, kind of like dancing around? Like, I don't know if I. Do I bring that up, or were you?
No, I know that.
It was like your own process.
No, because of me knowing her and like all the things that we've been through, like as kids, and like me knowing her little personality, like I know that she's not that mushy of a person at the, most of the time. So I always felt like she was grieving in her own way, and like most people would look at it like it's crazy, but then everybody has their own process that they go through. So when she was going through her process, even though at times like I would look at it like, you bugging, but I understood that was her way, and I just dealt with it. I didn't feel the need to say anything, because what was understood don't need to be said. So I felt like if she ever needed to talk, we could, but I knew that it wasn't going to be a time where we had to.
Mm. And what do you think that your process looked like?
Mm.
Did it look similar to hers?
Did you have a grieving process?
I don't actually know. I mean, I did a lot of mine in private, where like I would have thoughts at times, and I would just like I might wake up and I might just cry, but I'll go in the bathroom, and so wouldn't nobody know that I was thinking about it. I don't think I've ever really touched on it with anybody, because you feel like most people probably won't understand, or if they do understand, it's not something that you probably excuse me, that you want other people to really pay attention to, because a lot of times people try to hold that against you, those times where you feel
You think because you're a
vulnerable.
man, or just?
Well, yeah, I think that's part of it. I think part of it was, how society teaches us we're supposed to be, and we buy into it, and then we start to, we're not taught how to deal. We're not even taught which feelings we're having. So a lot of times, like, we'll feel like we're having female emotions or whatever, because nobody ever taught us how to deal with them. So most of the times, like if you notice, like when dudes go to jail or whatever, a lot of times it's over a dude being upset and he thinks he's mad, but in all actuality, he just doesn't even understand
How to process.
the emotional intelligence that
Right.
it takes to know which feeling he's having.
What he's actually
So
having.
the reaction will come out as like, oh, I'm mad, but really, oh no, you hurt. Like,
Right.
your girl just cheated on you.
You better preach to him. I'm saying that all the time. Like, no, it's those are most of the times those are secondary emotions. Most people don't process the primary emotions, and then it goes to the secondary
We don't
emotion
even
usually
think about it.
is
I mean-
anger. You know what I mean? So it's I'm hurt, so I'm
Man,
angry.
yes.
I'm disappointed, so I'm
Yeah.
angry. You know what I mean?
I never thought
I'm
about
tired,
that.
so I'm angry. Literally, if you can get to a place of processing the
That
primary
first emotion,
emotions, processing
how
it,
do
and
you
then it
deal
doesn't
with
get
that?
to anger.
I never thought about it that way.
Right, and then you don't want your anger to get to action.
Yeah.
That's scripture. You know what I mean? Be angry, but in your anger, don't sin. Be angry, but in your anger, don't do something else. So once you get to the actual action, that's when you're at fault. Have the first emotion, process it so it doesn't get to anger. Sometimes it may get to anger. Process that so it doesn't get to action. So
Touche.
I think that
I think
But
I need to hang that up somewhere, like I say it every day. So
For
I don't-
real. I mean, I don't act. I have emotions.
You
I
process?
process my emotions. I do.
Mm.
If you feel some type of way-
I honestly don't think I get that angry. I don't get that far. Then again, I don't think there's many situations that like have I been angry? Yeah, but like I don't think I get that far.
Must be nice.
I
was
know.
just saying, I get angry every day. I don't.
Listen.
Y'all, but no, y'all are saying that because you think what you be feeling is anger.
Oh no, I know when I'm angry. You ain't gonna tell me. I know when I'm gonna choke somebody. But no,
Kurt got anger.
I don't have anger.
No,
but
you got anger, man.
it's just people that I think
Man.
that I allow.
No, I
to
think
surround
I
me.
think I sit in the first emotion. I wallow in the first emotion.
I definitely, I don't, I know I don't get angry and act on anger. If I act on something, I've already
Is that a spike?
sat in
spite.
Definitely.
Good way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah.
Before anger, I'll act out of spite before anger. But my actions,
Spite is
I'm
anger.
gonna shut up.
Spite is anger.
No, it's not.
It is. Don't let nobody tell you nothing.
Spite is an emotion, but it's not anger. It's clapback.
Isn't
It's
spite?
a response.
Yes, but not anger. Because I calmly react. It just may not be.
Sweetheart, you think that anger is only it's not.
Shut up.
It's not.
I think about my emotions before I act, and I act accordingly. And And must you- be
nice.
I haven't mastered that. You act accordingly too.
Sometimes.
It's
I've gotten
always-
better.
It's always.
You've gotten
It's
better.
how
I've gotten
you
better.
wanted to act to that.
I mean, I should.
Not only that, but a lot of the times it just comes. Some things just come with age.
I was gonna
some
say
things-
that. I was
some
gonna say
things come
I
with
The
better
way
at this
that you
point.
react comes with age. Like the
Yeah.
way, like when you're younger, your reaction
And
may be, "I
then
want to fight you."
I know that I still haven't mastered it, so I just avoid things.
Situations like
Yeah, nah, I think
which
You
is
know what I
also
mean? Like I
that's the
stay
point.
which is
away
also
from certain
growth in
places.
in
I stay
a,
away from certain people,
Definitely.
not because I'm scared.
but that
Because
but
I don't
that's
want
also
to
Because
I don't want it to
you.
result
But that's
in
the thing. that in itself is also growth because like when you're younger and it's
feel like
like
you have to address
you know what I mean, I gotta address
I gotta
everything
address
gotta be
it.
a thing.
Mhm.
and you
And it
don't.
and not only that, but it's like I have things to think about now. I don't have to be
I
in
have
every
other
situation.
responsibilities.
Yeah, I don't have to be in every
And most of
situation.
the time that the people you feel angry towards
aren't worth it.
are not.
Or worse,
So
and
then
half the
you
time they don't
think
even know
about
that that they really pushed you to a place.
No, but
Like when people,
Nah, a lot of
But
them do.
You know what's so crazy? I read a thing. I read something somewhere. I don't remember what it was, what book it was in, but it was a kid was asking a monk what was anger, and the monk told the kid that anger was when you're punishing yourself for somebody else's action.
Yeah.
So you think about it, like you're feeling all these emotions, like you mad, you want to hit something, and then that person just did some stupid shit, and it
Right.
has nothing to do with you. So
all
if you
those,
look at
it's
And
like
they're not the angry
what
ones.
they say.
Yeah.
What they say,
That
it's like
can
drinking
happen
poison and
too.
expecting somebody else to die.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
literally you're holding yourself hostage.
yeah, you hurting
Twisted.
and feeling something, and then
That
that person
person
who just did something stupid that has nothing
free,
to do with
clear
you.
of
They're
emotion.
living their own life and doing what they feel as though is needed for whatever.
without a
they're
second
doing.
thought.
And then you're feeling it for no reason.
That happens
I
too.
love this quote. It was from the show Shameless, and he said to his sister, he was like, "You can't go through life opening doors for people and getting upset because no one says thank you." And what he was saying was like, you can't go through life feeling a way about you know what I mean, like
Somebody
all
else's
the
action.
all
man.
the all the
that
things
you're-
that you created
Yes.
these things for other people, and then you feel away because
They didn't
they
say
don't
thank
re-
Yeah, because
we-
if you're doing it because you want to do it, and it
Right.
doesn't matter what they do.
right.
Like, I mean, I can't say I
My
agree with
therapist
that.
said that. She said you're responsible for your actions. They're responsible for their actions. It's not a.
Yes.
It's not a you. Well, they may
made
have
me
to
do
do
this.
right. And she's like, no.
I
like,
did
you-
this because they made me feel like no.
Yeah.
I hope you say it next time I do something. You know.
Sir, you get past all the effing
All the time. All the
Yeah.
time. Like you.
and I don't
Like
react.
tonight.
Who's older?
Me.
Me.
I was gonna say, but it seems
She's
like
the
I know
mom.
she thinks she's the one. Yeah.
She's the mom. It's the middle children.
I deal with it. I
that
learned-
is true because
I
I
learned
don't know
that
if she's still on, but Millie swear.
I am older.
Millie, you still on?
older but was born like it's like remember Don't Be a Menace when the dad was younger than the son. That's what
No,
she's
sir.
talking about.
Jasmine says, how easily my sister could have been in your son's place.
Jack, it's
Oh, I didn't get that. What did it?
So
Because her-
Jasmine is my younger sister, and her father is the one that used to
Oh,
abuse me.
okay.
So she's listening to your side, what you said,
Mhm.
and then now she's listening, and
Oh,
she's putting pieces together. And I think it just was like, wow,
Gotcha.
I could have
Yeah.
been Jordan.
I mean, and it's crazy. Like, we know that it happens all the time. Like, we're aware that child abuse exists, sexual abuse exists, and we all know someone who's been through it. But how many of us have? have spoken up? How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't want to say anything. How many of us have said, you know, I don't want to say anything, but I don't
I need to tell someone, or I need to be that one that tells. Like it doesn't happen enough. It doesn't. We're not accountable.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I've kind of learned to think about that from the standpoint of like, most dudes when they're dealing with females, a lot of times the ones that have been abused in some form or fashion, and they don't want to speak about it, or they just don't speak about it, and a lot of times we react based on
Emotion.
feeling as though
We have to protect.
no, I'm talking about like not even knowing that
Them
the
not
person
knowing.
has
So
it.
you missed
So-
that part with me and my husband.
Oh, okay.
Where
So yeah, like
I understood exactly where you were going.
yeah, I think
I mean, if he was here on time.
Oh.
What you were saying?
Go ahead. Sorry.
I forgot my point.
Courtney gonna tell me to shut up.
No, I just feel like a lot, like she said, since people don't vocalize it a lot of times, like, a relationship can be toxic and going through all these things just because you don't know that she's actually hurt. So you're reacting to her reactions instead of being able to understand that, like, she's just going through something and it's something bigger than what you see on the surface. So I think that's like a big thing, because the fact that most people don't want to talk about it and touch on it, it can lead to like a lot of messed up relationships, a lot of different things.
So, and that's like she was saying, like that was kind of the reason why we commended Stretch, because it wasn't like she came in out the gate. It was like, okay, I know this our first date, but I had this situation. You know what I mean?
I
It was
waited
like
a few years.
there was some time, and then
Because you got to build that
little
comfort
thing-
too.
yeah.
And not only that, because what it is prior relationships.
People use it against you.
Yes.
I always hear that, but I never understand
Yes,
what they mean.
Yes,
Like
they
when
did.
people say that, I don't understand what you
So-
mean, because how can I use it
They throw it
against
up,
you?
or they throw it up in your face.
They
or
know. They know. Okay, so anybody who's around me, anybody, and I'll openly say this because it's like, let's go. You want to go toe to toe? We'll do that now. Now I'm prepared. But anytime somebody hurts me, they can only hurt me through a child. If that makes sense to you. Like, let's say
Because
we build a relationship, right?
because of her experience. Now she's very overprotective of children,
Not just my own.
and it's not
Just-
just her.
just
From-
kids.
So it's like, let's say me and her, we build a bond, and then I'm around the girls, and she lets me be a part of their life and everything, stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah, they take that away
Then we get into something, we argue,
from you, and now you can't see the kid.
and now you mad at me, but you don't know how to piss me off, because you can't really. It's kind of like whatever. But what you gonna do? You gonna take the girls from me. Boom. You got me. You understand?
Yeah.
I let people in certain situations, and they'll use it against me. Females have done that. Then male part, that's friendships or family. Then male that I've been with, partnered, or that I had a child with, know what happened. They know I have daddy issues. They know that, to me, it's so important for whether we're together or not, it's so important for my kids to have their father. So I make it as easy as possible. No child support. We could take turns doing taxes. No visitation. No, you want them? Sure, I'm not busy. I tried. And it's been used against me. Then they talk to you like a power trip, and it's just like,
Yeah,
if
like,
I was a bitch,
Then you really be talking about me.
if I had you on child support, and I had you on a court
and I only gave you the
visitation,
weekends, you know.
and I was an asshole, you would know not to talk to me like that. And it's like, and it should be the opposite.
Yeah.
It should be the opposite. You should feel like, wow, regardless of the things that I've done to her, she
You
never
still
took it
doesn't
out
take
on
less.
me.
Yeah, or not use the kid, because that's literally like the way that most people, like, I understand that feeling, but
So it's
And that's-
kind of
it's hard to
like
find
you
a
let
people
people
that
in,
do that.
and then they kind of know your weaknesses, and they like to just,
Use it against you.
yeah.
I never understood what females meant when they said that. And
Yeah,
like
they
that's
do.
Or not.
because
not
I always
only-
look at
not
it like, how
only
can I
that,
use it against you? Like, I'm not ever going to bring it up or like.
Yeah, but you think that people don't?
I mean, I can't see how
Imagine-
you bring it up.
What do you? Anyway, imagine with your. I have confided in you one of my weakest moments, one of my most vulnerable moments, one of the things that has made me, you know what I mean, feel the lowest. And then we get into it and you say something slick.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what I mean, something as little as a comment about a situation that made me feel low.
Well, yeah,
Like you
That to me is
worn
like-
out now. You're worn out anyway, or something to make it make it demeaning.
Right.
Like
Or
my experience demeaning.
Yeah.
to make it seem like I lied about it, or to make it seem like
I
you know what I
see.
mean.
It could be anything.
I guess again, like, you know, it being alien for somebody to use something like that, I never thought of like how
Yeah.
a person would even bring it up. Like,
People could be evil.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of situations. And even I use that example. Then there's another example where it's like, because I'm so like, yeah, sure, like this and that. It was like the one time I put my foot down with one of them, he took it as far as calling Dyfus on me and having a whole tantrum and accusing me of all this stuff because you know that's a soft subject for me. You accuse me of the one thing
That
that,
you know I would never
I
do.
am not,
Right.
but you knew where to hit me.
yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's a lot. These are real. I'm not making this up. These are real situations that happen to me. People will use what you've been through, and when they can't get their way with you or they can't get through you, because I'm tough, but certain things I can admit I am soft with, and kids and my kids bond with their dad or their families and stuff is a big thing for me. And they would use it against me.
That's why we call it brave when you know what I mean, take your power back by saying this is my story, and if I can tell you my story, because it ain't nobody else's to tell. If I can tell you my story and you know what I mean, with a straight face, with my head held high, I'm taking back my power. I'm taking back your ability to
Tell my story for
tell
me.
my story for me, mix it up,
Yes.
chop it and screw it, or whatever the case may be. And this is why I say that it's brave, because what we're putting out there, just think about the fact that last week's episode had 350 views. Do you think those were all people who want to see you win?
Nope.
No.
I know for a fact.
Half of them. Half of them
I'm being nosy.
were people who are being nosy. Half of them were people, shout out to the people who are not. But what I'm saying
Yes.
is, the reality is, your hater will watch you closer than anyone else. So,
And
yes,
I didn't
it's
know
brave
this.
for
Other
you
people
to,
know
it
this.
is brave for you to say, this is my story and there's nothing you can do about it.
And share it. Share my story with your friends.
Share, listen,
Like, take
talk
it,
to
it'll
them.
help.
Take it to the
It'll
group
help.
chat, Stink.
It'll help.
Like,
Because I mean, it's like what got me, and I've never felt like no one can use my experiences against me, because I mean, you just can't. You can't use my experiences against me because they're mine. But I have the only thing about my. I mean, I don't care. The only thing about my experience that has been not even a trigger, but disheartening, I guess maybe, is the rumors. Like that's been the only thing that I'm like who was.
I think that should be
Yeah,
the
but-
least. That should be the least disarming, because you
Yeah.
know it's not true. You know what I
But,
mean? Like,
and
but
not
for
only
someone
that-
to turn
but-
that turn it into that.
But not only that, you gotta look at it like this, because I mean that part I can understand it, but then you gotta look at the rumors that you got family members that'll make up shit just to do that, and they're
Yeah.
like the wackest of all whack. So
Yep.
I don't even pay them no mind.
Yep.
They swear they are the funniest. So I don't even know why. If
I
you
don't know
can
why
take
it bothers
it, but
me, but
if you
it
can
does.
take if you can take that from them and know that they're the type that'll do that, you can expect that from anybody, and that's like the last thing you should be. I mean, I'm not saying you should be worried about, but the last thing that could really affect you, because most of the time those rumors kind of help you out anyway. Cause now you look at me this way, so you gonna stay the fuck away from me. Bye. Like that was a better thing for me.
I mean, thankfully, I've never had to. No one has ever approached me. No one's asked me, really, other than like close personal relationships that I have. I don't get questioned. I don't get asked.
Get a bottle of water.
Even like what happens, what happened, what you know, like what was my experience like. People don't ask me. And I don't know if it's that they're tiptoeing or if it's that I don't know what it is. But I'm thankful that people don't ask. But then again, they assume because they don't ask, they assume most of the story, and then they have to. Then they act, like you know, if it's a close relationship, they're like, well, what did happen? And I'm okay with telling the story. I just don't like the people that assume or go off of the rumor instead of asking.
I've had people that have done that before, and I don't even feel the need to explain it. Like when they say, "Oh yeah, you know, such and such happened, and you know, somebody over here did this to your nephew," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I don't really feel the need.
Who does that though? See, like that right there is so weird to me.
And
I've had people do it though.
that has been the
Like, who
experience.
does
Just
that?
and no one has come to me and said that, but I've heard the rumors. Like I've heard people say, "Well, I was told that this happened or whatever," and I know of one person that was spreading that rumor, and consider the source. It's consider the source.
Consider the source. Ain't got nothing better to do.
And,
Well, I
it's,
mean,
and he's still riding
but-
the bike.
Again, like,
And that's how it be.
But
And
no,
that's
but-
how
Not you
it
still
be.
riding now,
But the
bye.
crazy thing is, life's based off perception anyway. So if when you look at a lot of people who haven't like been anywhere or learned anything, their perception is, you know, so small. Like I used this analogy for my son the other day. Like, you know, and I think I used it with her. The same one. Like if a goldfish tells you like, yo, I live in the best water. Like, you know what I mean? I that shit's clean. But a shark that been through the ocean, been in the Caribbean, Alaska,
Right.
he's gonna like, what? That water's not shit. I've been like, you know,
But
so
it's based off their perspective.
so it's based off that.
and they
that
can only
perception.
see as far as they
Yeah, they can only see as far as the information they have to go
Right.
off of. So a lot of people, they take the little bits of information that they get and they throw them together the way they want to, and then they operate off that. So I mean, you can't expect anything else from them.
I expect common motherfucking sense, but again, it's not common.
Common sense.
You're right, but Jesus.
Not only that, but like again, not everybody is playing with the same deck. Not everybody's playing with
Yeah.
the same set of
Morals,
guidelines. You know what I mean? Like not everybody's playing with the
Oh.
same. I always call it a cocktail.
And
The
not
things that
only-
you put
not
together
only
that
that,
makes a
though.
person who they are. They're not playing with the same.
It's
You just look at a lot of people have trauma of their own, so that's why they operate the way they operate.
Me and
that's
Courtney
the
were
part
having this
that-
conversation. We were just talking about like, you know what I mean? How you want to be like, oh, like you don't know because this is what I've been through. But the thing is, right? They
Yeah.
don't know because what you've been through, which has made you who you are. They don't know that. You can't tell a person to feel not to feel away because you're two different people living two
you
different
perceive things and receive
Now, some
things.
people use their
differently.
trauma as an excuse to be a shitty ass person too.
Definitely.
So
Touche.
That's definitely true.
let's make that clear. You know what I mean?
But you know that saying that hurt people. So when you like the average person that's throwing something out, they have most of the time something that they're hiding or something that they, you know, it's
Or
always.
some people legit don't like.
Oh no, that
I had a young lady who I was around and I was there for and things like that, and she did me in such a way that I was just like so like.
Let's not talk about that.
But the thing about it was this was at like the end of a okay. I'm
We're
starting
going
to
separate
see this.
ways.
I'm starting to see, and it didn't sting me the way it could have and I literally had to say to her, your life lets me know that you literally don't know how to be good to people.
Mhm.
Regardless who, like the things that you've told me that you've been through, I know that you wouldn't know how to be good to anyone. Not just not
even
not
your
a friend.
kids.
Right. Not even your kids. Not a friend. Not a male. Not, you wouldn't know how to, literally, the things that you have been through have made you where you, like, somebody comes, if somebody
Made
comes
you worse
along,
of a person.
right,
Like you didn't
somebody
become
comes along
triumphant.
and shows you a little bit of grace, and
And you
you're
don't know
like,
how to-
and exactly,
You don't
and
know how
you've
to
lived
receive
your life, come up, you know what I mean? One soft-hearted person to another.
Yep.
That's literally how you. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Not everybody's not
for
my
you.
project. Everybody's not me.
I was,
You know
I
what I
was
mean?
just thinking of something that somebody who I always talk to told me. He was like, he said everybody's not supposed to make it. Everybody, like some people are meant to be pawns. Like some
And
people,
and some people have gotten through life one sad sob story to another.
Yep.
So here I am. Even on the street. God forbid I ever had a situation where I was like in the in the thick. But a lot of times, there are people who have lived from one. You know what I mean. And I've seen it, like doing like the gift drives and things like that. You've seen people that are like
that continue to struggle.
listen, I'm just
in my
the
last
this time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've had people one year for Christmas, they reached out for me to give them gifts, and their demeanor about it was like, so you drop them off or what? Like, and then the next year they reached out again, and it was like, oh no, that's what you do.
Yes.
Or
Like,
how about when they act like you never did shit for them?
Child.
for everybody.
Or I didn't ask you for it.
Now y'all getting a whole different type of subject. Somebody talk about it.
No,
But this is all stems from people that have been abused before,
Yes.
where it's like
Yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. But
it
that's crazy.
is.
Like you have to.
Yeah,
at some
because
point,
your lip was quivering when you asked for that money. Now, look, it's your little funky $20, but your lip was quivering when you was asking for that $20.
I thought, look, at first I thought you were talking to me. I'm like, hey, what I asked you for?
Like I didn't ask you for no money.
Why you put my business out there? I'm gonna give you your money, man.
She's like, your lip was going like, what?
What I'm saying is,
I got
you know
you.
how
I
people
caught on.
they just like that, and that's the reality. Some people you gotta look. I got to the point. I'm gonna let God be God in your life, because you know what I mean. Because I've learned my lessons from from trying to keep people from learning their lessons. And now, God, go ahead, Sean. What you got, Sean?
you can't save everybody.
Yeah.
You can't save everybody, and
You can't pour from an
everyone is
empty cup.
yes,
Because
and
you be trying to save people, and you be trying to save people.
And listen,
And whole
in
time,
their
they pull it
story,
down.
No.
and you the villain in their story.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And you the villain. Listen, hop on my boat, and they like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on your boat and poke
Put the
holes
holes
in
in
it
it.
when I get here. You know.
Yeah, that's a whole other. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, this one's somewhere else.
So seek help. No, that's
Yeah,
abused people that do not get
That's
help.
another part of it. Yes.
You need and that's where it comes from.
And know what abuse looks like. It's not just black and blue.
Yes.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
It's not just sexual assault. Is not just penetration.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. Know what abuse looks like. Know what emotional abuse looks like. When you get to a certain age and you're in an abusive relationship, it's not just he's hitting me.
Mm-hmm.
There's such thing as financial abuse. There's emotional abuse, verbal abuse. Know what abuse looks like. And I watched a video earlier, and Waka Flocka was at a podcast. And he sat down and he looked around the room and he was like, you know, and got up. Like he was just like, this just isn't. And the young lady who replayed the video, she was like, how much better would we be if we just got up from tables that we didn't want to be at it anymore?
Yeah, I should have did that
Like,
before.
I'm just just getting up from the
That's
table.
that's when you know.
Instead of sitting
that's
there
growth.
and fucking trying to get your point across and trying to get, you know what I mean? And
I asked
This
Angie,
table does not serve me.
this table
Yeah.
did not serve me.
So
then
I'm
they turn
going to
around
leave
and then
it.
they look at you and tell everybody else that you think you better than everybody and then you think you better.
No,
I was
you
trying
wanna
to
know
give
something?
you some of my knowledge. What the hell?
But I will say this: when people say, you know, you think you better, it's not that I think I'm better than
Nah,
people.
you think
I
I'm
no
better.
no no. I think
I
I'm
see
better
none of
than
us.
certain situations.
No,
And-
they think you're better is what it is. It's
Touche.
in their head. I never said I was better than. I don't act like I am. You think I am.
Yeah. I asked Angie if she could tell her younger self something. What would it be?
Don't change your story.
Mm-hmm. Kirk, if you had to tell your
Look, I was
if you had to tell
Kirk.
your post Jordan self something, what would it be?
I don't even know.
Think about it.
Like if you could go back to that day.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, but there's not much. I don't know. There's not much I could. I don't know because I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you because to me, that's one of those situations that just it blindsides you so much that it's not really.
That's fair.
It's nothing you could. There's nothing that I would be able to tell myself that would change or prepare me or fix anything that I've been through as far as like the mental things that I've been through after it or whatever. So I really couldn't even tell you.
Do you think you ever felt like a numbness?
You know what's crazy is that I think, like, you know, with our mom dying at when we were young, I had a numbness to like most situations, like even when it comes to like relationships. Like I can love you to death and tomorrow I don't care about you or whatever. So, and I feel like
Same, and I wonder if that's a trauma response.
it is, and
It is.
Ronnie brought that up to me, and she showed, like, she kind of broke it down to me, like, a lot of the things that I was going through was, but, hey, damn, you just made me forget my point.
I can love you today, and
No, but I'm saying, like,
because I feel like we all. That's kind of how
yeah, but,
we all are. Like, you know, I love hard when I love,
yeah, but I don't care about you like
but
tomorrow.
you slight me.
When
And
I'm
I'm
done,
quick-
when I'm done with you,
Yeah.
I'm done with you.
Yes, like and
But my stupid ass will keep trying a lot.
yes,
like, I feel like,
Because I love you
I
that
always
much.
Yes.
feel like I don't think that, because I feel like once you try to, like, slight me in any kind of way, I'm cool
No,
with never seeing
even
again.
you,
Like,
you give chances. I know for a fact
well,
you give chances.
but a lot of times
You'll
my
be
chances
done.
are based on something else though. Like it's like
Same, but we have that. I think, and it's this where you know that somebody is doing you wrong, and I mean, and maybe it's just everybody. It could be just everybody. You know somebody's doing you wrong, and you know you're supposed to feel some type of way about this, and you're supposed to walk away. You know, and I can love you hard as fuck. Like I will love somebody. Like I have been in relationships where I know I love this person. But it's nothing for me to walk away. Like, it's nothing for me to say, like, to act like you never existed.
yeah, and I've always questioned that because of like I guess from that trauma or whatever. Like I've always questioned, like, do I even really know how to love somebody
Yes.
because of the fact that I'm like,
Is it meant for me?
Like I might not even really love you like I think I love you. I
Yeah.
don't even, like, you know, whatever. But I think,
Now, when you say that trauma, are you thinking your mother?
well, that was the only reason I was saying that was because when you said the numbness part, I think that gave me a numbness to most scenarios and situations, but then Jordan was a whole horse of another color. So like, you know, I think I kind of became okay with
Lost.
people with loss. Like people, it didn't matter if you leave, all right, whatever. But when it came to that, it hit me a whole other way. Look at that. You see the way he just looked at me like, what's up, buddy? Like, no, but yeah, I feel like I gained the numbness from that, but then Jordan made it a whole nother thing where like then it became where I would feel things I didn't want to feel. Like I would just have thoughts, like I could be driving and then just have a thought, and then that thought could just turn into like me sitting in my head for like an hour thinking about different stuff with him, you know, like all kinds of crazy stuff. So I don't think I ever had a numbness when it came to him. I think it kind of made it worse, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, my thoughts I don't have those intrusive thoughts. I don't have, especially not like flashback type thoughts. My thoughts are more like, where would he be now?
Yeah.
What would I be doing now? What would he be like now? What would, him and Kamora's relationship be like now?
Oh, he would be kicking her ass.
Like those are the kind of things that I do think of because like they did have a relationship, before.
Remember that thing when she went to go run in the street and he ran and got her?
I remember him being like so excited to show his friends, his sister, like I'm upstairs cleaning and Kamora's at the top of the stairs and him and the kids running the house and up the stairs and he's like showing her off like this is my sister. This is my
Remember
sister.
that day he got drunk with like cussing at school or something? I had him maybe get a push-up position. He was great. He didn't want to let the tear drop. He did not want to cry. He was just sitting there and his arms started shaking till like one tear dropped and then just started going. But no, yeah.
Like you think about those things. I never think I don't think about.
Courtney says she doesn't think he would fight her. He would probably just be super overprotective.
He would probably be.
He would be, outside he would be super protective, but inside he would
fight. They would fight.
Like, yo.
I know what I had to do with them.
They saying it for a reason.
Yeah, definitely. We've had plenty of that.
I know.
Courtney, they tried to jump me a few times. I didn't do that.
You did that, and I had the pencil mark from when we did the.
I don't remember
Didn't
that.
you say you
remember
pushed
that.
her in the bush?
Yeah.
I don't remember what you meant.
Didn't you say you pushed her in the
This is
bush?
the pencil.
I pushed her in the bush a couple times.
I believe it.
Look.
Throwing caterpillars on me.
Alicia.
You remember that time I threw the boogie off the wall and hit
Ew.
I was sitting there rolling up a boogie and I threw it to make a noise and it bounced off and landed on her lip. She started crying.
Yeah.
It's my face.
Yo,
Look at my face is another one.
I used to lay her down and try to lick her face and she used to cry.
Oh, it's good. Oh. But I think they would have those kind of memories too. Like I don't know.
What a time.
What if? See, Kirk, you stabbed her with the pencil. Courtney said.
Courtney, stop lying. You're not even here. Shut up.
This is the pencil.
Who said I did it?
Who said I did it?
Who was there? I was there.
I wasn't there. I don't know what you're talking about, but if I did, my apologies.
I appreciate the apology. See, that's some accountability right there. That's the accountability I'm looking for.
Okay, I did it.
Thank you. You did it.
Did not. Well, okay.
So yeah.
We are going to wrap it up. Or we
Thank
have
you.
wrapped it up.
Thank you, Siobhan.
I'm sorry.
Let me wrap it up.
Sorry.
Goodness, she said we
are
were
gonna wrap it up.
I wasn't done yet.
And you remember when Grab was like, wrap it up? No, you wrap it up. Oh, they said lock it up.
we're gonna say wrap it up.
Wrong thing. Go ahead.
Lock it up.
Yeah, that was like my favorite movie at one point.
That was a good movie. Bloody Crush. Yeah, that was a good movie.
I
Why
watched
would you
that.
look like that?
Wrap it up.
Will Ferrell? He was the White Cracker. He was like the guru,
Yeah, but-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never know what she's doing back then.
What?
Oh, the meatloaf!
Listen, I envy people who can like quote movies. I cannot quote.
I can quote Will Ferrell movies.
I can't quote a
like
movie.
movies.
I don't know the lines. I can remember it was funny, but I don't think I've seen White Trash.
I watch it every day.
Talladega Nights. I can quote Talladega Nights like somebody's business. Ask me why. I don't know. And Anchorman.
So,
anyway.
if we're ever on Who Was the Big Millionaire and ask a Will Ferrell question, I know who to call.
Exactly. Yep.
Alright.
Yep. So.
Alright, we're gonna wrap this up. No. Alright, come on, Scott.
Oh wait,
This has been part 2, and part 3 is already in the making. So.
She's
Stay
just
tuned.
decided. She's
I
just
think
she literally
Part
told me
3 and part
today.
4.
Huh?
Part 3 and part 4. Because I talked to the lady on the way here. Okay. Part 3 and part 4.
So thank you, Stretch and Kirk.
Yeah.
for
Yes, for the male perspective.
yes, we
Okay.
appreciate it.
We very much appreciate it. I appreciate all four of you, honestly. Again, for your bravery, for your candor, your
I didn't
Your
want
time.
to be here. She made me.
she did not make you.
She did. I told her
I
And
was
listen, she didn't make you because you got here late.
I know, but I was in Philly. When she called me, I forgot about it today. She called me just as I was
And
on my way to Philly.
she literally said, you can't tell him ahead of time, you got to tell him the day of.
I told her to call me this morning and remind me, and she didn't. So it's her
You
fault.
know what? I still away because you can treat her like that. You can't treat me like that.
Jackson said these kids whispering because he's telling him about. He said, I'm 6 years old. She said, what? You're in 6th grade? He said, no, I'm 6 years old.
Jason, you making us look
Yeah,
bad.
they back there.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Jamari said, I thought it was my enterprise.
12 years old.
It's okay. They're like, we've given you all the time.
Y'all got longer than
Yo,
I
he
He
text-
calling for
he
an
text-
extra
He
46
texted me
minutes.
20 minutes ago and said, how long is this? He's been asking for food since we was in Philly. I told him, like, we gotta
No,
hurry up.
wait, no, we offered you pizza.
No.
Okay, I was
Oh,
like,
did you?
pizza.
He
Yeah,
said-
my husband was like, you want pizza? You want something to drink?
Oh, you bugging. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Look, he said 6 to 8. That's what y'all told me. Y'all
Cake
told
house.
me 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Ready.
Y'all told me I could come back upstairs at 8 o'clock.
It's past the time. So listen,
Yeah.
again, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who has come and who has
She can't see you there. They can't
yeah,
see you.
y'all.
Anthony, you didn't have to get up.
Oh, I was just gonna go like this.
Wow.
This the man that
As
wrote
Joe
the song.
would
Look,
say.
this the man that wrote the song.
Y'all about to-
Yes, everybody. Everybody who's reached out and you know what I mean, just sent their support. Everybody in the comments,
Yes.
we appreciate you. We appreciate those who have been able to relate, and everybody who has been supporting the Kiss Collective. We want to do more things. There are so many things that I've got in my head, and you know, working those things out. So if there's anybody who has a business and would like to sponsor the Kiss Collective so that we can continuously push these, not just the podcast, not just this space that we're creating, but so that we can continuously do things to empower our community and to restore a message of hope. So, anybody else? Any last thoughts? No?
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for questioning or commenting, asking
Yeah.
questions, making this topic important.
Yeah.
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 And my DMs, iMessage is still open, just like y'all did last week. And for whoever thought like, ooh, should I message her? Should I ask? You can.
You can,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yes,
We're here for it.
all day.
Because if this just sparks a conversation in your household about how to move forward or how to get your healing or how to advocate for your kids, that's what we've done our job.
Yep.
So, we're going to sign out. Got a blast.